You're there.
Are we on?
Yep.
We're on?
You, sir. Yep.
Oh, my God.
Well, we're on the warm-up section.
Yeah, we're the warm-up section.
I'm looking at YouTube. So this is like the warm-up comedian. You got to get the crowd ready.
Are you?
Did you see where Louis Anderson died?
Yeah.
I saw that. Sad to hear that. And
There's four. So that's
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, Louis,
Betty White,
and Pat Sajak, Saget.
Bob Saget.
Yeah, Bob Saget. Yeah, four. Somebody was out of
Who
turn.
knows? It might be Pat Sajak now.
Is it live on Facebook? Yeah. I haven't hit. It hasn't hit YouTube.
We got good quality, Mike.
There we go. Yeah,
we got it all.
Do we have it?
You're golden, buddy.
Yep. I've got us. We're up on Facebook.
Mars is,
just now.
Little behind.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not on YouTube yet.
Well,
did we pay the bill?
Damn it!
What's the problem, Mr. Mars?
I don't know. It says it's going live in
an hour and a half.
You scheduled You scheduled it in probably, so it doesn't start.
You got a minute and a few seconds.
Yeah, it says 1:32.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's going to start at 8 o'clock. I don't understand that.
Why did you do that? Yeah.
Well, I did. I saw that they made some more changes to where you could put that out there, and people can put little reminders up there.
Yeah, you can remind it or set a time. But the big hand is on the 12, and the little hand is on the
8.
There you go.
Central.
Mm-hmm. Well, and talking about Meatloaf passing, he's going to be in one of our stories today. And
Meatloaf is?
Yeah, well, that was planned before he passed.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The premonition that you had.
Wow. Well, I don't know. Hopefully not.
Conrad, you're scaring me.
Don't put me in none of your stories.
I was just going to say, because I think that you had me dead earlier this morning for some reason. Blood sugar or something.
Yeah. Well, because Meatloaf was in one of the movies we're going to talk, and a movie car that's coming up for sale here.
Oh, okay. So that's why we did. That's why
that whole music piece that you've been doing.
My God.
But he put the wrong one on.
He's got to
No, I had edited it the wrong way.
Oh, boy.
It's just whatever.
Come on.
So 30 seconds.
You bet.
What?
Yep.
30 seconds.
That means absolutely nothing, and you know that. Because
wait.
if there's a... wait a minute. We've had some sort of a mechanical failure. 30 seconds to go. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Oh, boy.
Our guest is going, what did I get on?
I will tell you that what worries me is Mars over there on his phone.
He's texting somebody looking for help.
Ainsley.
Well, hold on just a moment, okay?
Ainsley, if you're listening,
just hold on.
We need to wake Ainsley up.
Howdy and hello. It's the In-Wheel Time Show, your place to go for entertaining talk. Just ahead, Jake Fisher joins us to talk about rating driver monitor systems. I'll review the Mercedes-Benz 43 GT AMG DEFG HIJ.
That thing needs a driver monitor.
Conrad has the cruise-in calendar, and we'll have This Week in Auto History. It's all coming up. Plus, we'll have the stories making news headlines this week. Just ahead on today's In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Otto of the Swirl Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeffrey, we need more Jeff, Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. Thanks so much. We always appreciate it. And please tell your friends about us. And we've got some exciting things to tell you about soon that Mr. Mars has been working on for months. He just hasn't bought the right wires to make that happen yet. But whatever.
Are we getting more audio?
We had a consult with a guy in Pennsylvania last night, so we're chasing it down.
All right. Well, chasing it down.
It's amazing what the federal prison system does for us.
You say this is 12 almost 12 years into it. We're still
11.
chasing it down.
You don't need to make us go any faster than we already are.
Yeah,
but
please don't.
All right. Our first guest this morning, Mr. Jake Fisher. He's the Senior Director of Auto Testing at Consumer Reports. Jake, good morning to you, and thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Not a problem. Good seeing you guys.
Yep, you too. All right. Driver monitoring systems, and I think instead of me trying to ad-lib my way and screwing it all up, and I'm just going to read this, okay? It's just the first paragraph of this press release, which got us all going, let's delve into this just a little bit. As car companies offer more features that automate critical driving functions, Consumer Reports has decided to evaluate whether new vehicles also have driver monitoring systems. that do a good job of encouraging safe driving. These systems use computers and onboard cameras to determine whether a driver is looking toward the road while the vehicle automates some steering, braking, and acceleration functions. If not, the system will sound an alert and potentially restrict the use of information. So now, Jake, you guys are actually grading these things. Is that correct?
Well, so it's one of these new emerging technologies on cars that is totally not understood, right? I mean, everyone's talking about, autonomous driving and full self-driving and semi-autonomous driving or whatever that means. I'm not even sure. But I mean, it's systems like autopilot, right? Mm-hmm. These are systems that can steer and do speed control. Well, the dirty little secret is that half of the vehicles on sale today now offer those types of systems that can steer and do speed control. Half of the models. Yeah, we did some research last year, and that's what we found.
I know that every test car that Mr. Mars and I get to drive out of the press fleets around here, that those almost every one that we get, now granted, they are pretty much loaded up, but every one of those cars, for the most part, have some sort of automation feature on them. Whether it's distance, but with the car ahead of you when you hit the cruise control,
radar cruise,
or
the automated braking system now,
and lane keeping assist. Lane keeping assist, they could just do away with in my book, but
that's not what you're testing in this instance.
So this is really interesting. So obviously you're driving the newer cars, right? The cars that are getting redesigned.
Yep.
The ones that don't have it are the ones that are due for a redesign, and when they do get redesigned, they're going to wind up with these types of automation systems. And you're right. We're throwing out terms like there's adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and all these kinds of things. What we're really talking about is you probably experience those things where you get towards that line and it kind of jerks the wheel back in.
Right.
What we're talking about is those ones that just continue to steer and follow the lane lines. So that's really automating the driving as opposed to, waiting until you get past those lines and jerk back. So these types of systems, when it's really automating the steering and automating the speed control, these are really, really prevalent. And like I said, 50% of the cars, they offer these types of systems. Now, we have done a lot of research and we have rated these systems. We have graded these systems. We've been doing that for about 2 years. And we've been talking to consumers, and while those lane keeping systems like you talk about where it kind of jerks that wheel, nobody likes those. A lot of people just shut these off. But the ones that actually steer, like autopilot, people do like these. And these are things that people say, hey, this is great. I took a long trip and I feel refreshed at the end of the day. I don't have to really concentrate really hard. But there's the problem. You don't have to concentrate really hard. And people using these systems can easily get distracted, especially when you're like everyone else where you have a computer in your pocket that has lots of fun things to do on it.
Or you're our
that's really the
age and
concern.
You want to take a nap.
Yeah, I was going to say
you hear that
time,
bing that you got to text.
Well, and that happens. People do fall asleep because it makes driving, look, when you're driving on a long, boring, straight road, it's pretty boring. But when you don't even have to steer anymore, it gets even more boring, and people do fall asleep. Now, most vehicles, the way they tell if you're still paying attention is if your hands are on the steering wheel. And I don't have to tell you guys, I mean, you have your hand on the steering wheel. It doesn't mean you're looking at where you're going. And it doesn't even mean you're awake.
So is that a touch sensor on the wheel?
Yeah, they do it in two different ways. They do it as a touch sensor on the wheel, which is kind of works okay. But the problem is that you got gloves, you're not in the right spot. The other way they do it is torque on the wheel. So just a little bit of a weight on the wheel. That also is a problem because your hands might be on the wheel, but it may not sense you're giving it torque, which is weird because if it's steering, why wouldn't you give it torque? That's what Tesla uses, which can get annoying even if your hands are on the wheel.
Right. There's also a commercial on with General Motors where they're clapping, they're taking the hands off the wheel and driving down the highway. To me, that is the most dangerous thing to show people, in my opinion, because you're
let's not pay attention.
You're clapping
on
to the music on the radio, or you're opening up
dancing
a soda,
around
yeah, exactly.
seat.
To me, that's inviting danger. That's inviting trouble.
So this is where the technology is, right? I mean, people they're trying to sell this as like, hey, you can do something else while you're driving. Truth is, you can't. You still got to pay attention. You're right. You still got to be paying attention where you're going. So there's really two ways right now that we're seeing of telling if the person's paying attention. One is, are the hands on the wheel? Two, are their eyes on the road? And what we're saying is we're drawing a line right now, and we're saying you got to at least make sure that someone's eyes on the road while you use these systems for us to give credit for the system for what they do. Now, ideally, you should have your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel.
So in the eyes on the road function of the monitoring system, does it also recognize not just that the face is aiming forward, but that the eyes are physically open?
You got it. You got it. These are looking at the driver's eyes, looking at where they're directed. I won't say that they are perfect, but they're the best that's out there right now. I've used systems from General Motors and Ford pretty extensively, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's not so annoying that you can't go and change your radio station or something like that. But if you do get distracted, it gets you back in the game. It alerts you. There's a light on the dash. If not, there's an audible alert. If you really are asleep, someone will actually slam on the brakes and jerk the car trying to wake you up. Huh. If you really abuse the system and you're past that,
it's a great way to wake up.
Bounce your head off
it gets your
steering wheel, bunk.
A little, it's not slamming on the brakes. It's just kind of like jerking the car.
Get your attention. But it's interesting because like the commercial that Jeff's talking about, I've seen that same commercial, and the people are doing that. But what you got to pay attention. They're on a very long, wide open stretch of road. There's nobody else around them. There's no other cars around them. There's nothing that could go wrong like you would in a normal driving. So it's kind of...
But they're still awake and staring kind of forward.
No, they're looking at each other and slapping and clapping and dancing around. So, it's very disingenuous, I would say, to present it that way.
The level that the Auto Cruise delivers,
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, there's this difference between the marketing, which is kind of like, hey, it's a self-driving car. I could go do something else.
Yeah, that's right.
And the reality.
Yeah.
And the reality is, like I said, on these systems that do allow you to get your hands off the wheel, and I'm not saying that it's safer to have your hands on the wheel. It's safer to have your hands on the wheel, too. But on those ones, it only allows you to take your hands off the wheel on those kind of straight sections of highway where there's not a lot of stuff going on, as long as you're looking where you're going.
And it also has to have a very defined lines in the road because visually the car is monitoring those lines on the road to keep it straight. I know Don had talked about one he drove, and when it came into a construction area, it was,
lost.
It communicated to him, you need to be driving, grab the wheel kind of thing.
And what is this showing our younger generation? I got a granddaughter that's going to be driving in a year or so. All this autonomous stuff, do we want them to get used to that, or do we want them to have the physical feel and drive of the car?
So, Jake, let me ask you this. If, you guys are testing all this stuff, what is the breakdown on this so far, those cars that are equipped with these assist systems?
And driver monitor systems,
Yeah, sure. So really, there's only two systems on the market right now that are, in our test, are doing an adequate job of making sure that someone's eyes are on the road as they use these automation systems. And that is Ford's Blue Cruise, and that's General Motors Super Cruise. They're at least making sure someone is looking where they're going if they're using the systems.
So what about the BMW Traffic Jam Assist?
So there is a camera on that system, but after 40 miles per hour, it stops operating.
What?
So
Why?
It only operates below
why
40.
did they do that?
We'll have to ask them that.
Well, it's BMW. Their blinkers never work either.
Well, so I mean, the BMW system, I mean, it's designed just in that stop and go traffic situation. But I mean, I've used it before. I was on, stop and go, and suddenly, I'm going 44 miles per hour before I have to slow down again. Then it pops out of that system. Really,
that can be annoying in itself. Yeah.
Now we've also
absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it gets confusing, and it pops out of different modes. I mean, the truth is this automation system. I just want to go back to what's the point of this, right? I mean, I love to drive, and when give me a curvy road and stuff, I'm not going to complain my automation system isn't working on these curvy roads because I want to drive on that. Where these really come into play, where they make sense, is one, that terrible stop and go traffic. That nobody wants to do anyway. They actually work really well in those systems. And the other one is, I'm sure you guys got some out there, long, straight, boring road, nobody around. Okay.
Lots of them.
You know,
West Texas.
Yeah, 300 miles of nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So
There you go.
let me ask you the blaring question. That is about the Tesla system, because we've gotten a lot of press on the Tesla
Here
system.
locally.
Crashes, and people have lost their lives because they weren't in the seat.
Yeah.
How does the car continue to go forward if there's nobody in the seat? So those kinds of things. How do you guys rate that?
Well, I mean, it's just what you say. I mean, this is a system that is extremely capable. And in our tests, when we look at the steering systems and speed control, it's the most capable. And what that means is there is this element of over-reliance where if this thing is doing a good job for an hour, you know, you might have your attention slip. And this is a system, they do have cameras in their vehicles now. But we've tested them, and they do not do a very good job of alerting the driver if they're not looking where they're going. In our tests, we could cover up the camera, and it still allows me to go my merry way. If I look away, my hands are on the wheel, it's not warning me I'm not paying attention. Because it doesn't have that safety backup to help the driver stay paying attention, I think that could explain some of these situations that we're seeing where people over-rely on it and their attention wanes.
It's an emerging technology that just isn't quite there yet.
Right.
Well, in listening to what you're saying, though, are we creating, you know, for a while we were worried about distracted driving, don't text and drive, blah, 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 blah. So are we creating a scenario where as we become more reliant, just out of habit, on
automation
these systems, that are we setting ourselves up for
failure
problems? I wouldn't say failure, but killing
I'll say failure. I mean, it is. We're putting people in an impossible situation. I mean, do you remember the Uber crash that was in Arizona a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost like the canary in the coal mine, right? I mean, this driver was using this, you know, developing automation systems, autonomy system, whatever you want to call it, and hour upon hour by themselves in the car at night without really much to do other than making sure everything's okay. Of course, you know, I mean, we're humans, you know. Hey, you know what? If I tell you your job is to watch this paint dry for the next 4 hours, and then if your eyes gaze off that paint, you know, you're going to...
What's it pay, Jake?
Explode.
Yeah. No, but if you think about it, you know, you're right, because like West Texas, literally, you get out there on the other side.
Hours.
Yeah. 300 so miles of nothing but Interstate 10. And, you know, if you get to thinking about it, well, my car, I've got radar cruise. So
run
if I
out
get
of
too
gas
close,
before you need to take an exit.
It's not going to run into somebody. It'll slow down and even stop if needed because I've got the radar cruise on and I've got lane things to keep me in my lane. What do I need to do?
Well, so this is exactly it. This is exactly because you could be in that situation, and these automation systems, you could probably cover 3 hours without ever having to put input in the steering or the brake pedal and then suddenly there's a construction area, and this car can't figure out exactly what's going on and what that flagger's doing, and maybe the truck is parked in a weird location that it's not used to and programmed for. That's the issue.
And you fell asleep 4 miles ago. And so that's why we're trying to monitor the driver. Because, you know, the cars actually do basically what you're saying is the car does a very good job of monitoring the road until something goes weird. Now the car is actually monitoring the driver, looking for something to go weird. So in your testing right now, you said basically there were two, GMs and Fords. Who is next out with a pretty well integrated system?
So there's a couple of ones in the works. Stellantis, they have talked about systems that would also have camera based. They're not in the market yet, so we haven't evaluated them. There's Nissan is also talking about doing things like that. And I think all the automakers really understand this is a direction that we need to go. We're currently I shouldn't say currently, but next month we're announcing our top picks. We're going to incorporate these scores at that point. And we've already communicated to the automakers going forward for the next couple of years. We're going to start actually removing points to automakers that have these systems that don't have a way of making sure the driver's looking where
like
they're
a
going.
good, like a good, better, best kind of thing.
Well, rewarding the technology installed in the vehicle.
But that brings up this point. So you're in the vehicle and you do have an accident. How is that translated through insurance? Is there a
liability?
Is there liability? Point the finger at the computer. They did it, or how does that work?
Well, I mean, the way all of these systems are explained is that the driver needs to pay attention. Now, it's hard to do, like we talked about, but the point is that they're very clear. They're not that capable. The driver needs to look where they're going. And if they're not, ultimately, it's on them. And I think just right now, we're actually having some investigations looking at some of these automakers, but they haven't done anything illegal. There's no law about not putting these systems on the cars.
Let me ask the extension of that point is, do you believe that the system monitoring the driver is also capturing data at that point when the airbag goes off for the future liability? And I asked that because I work for General Motors and I did accident investigation back in the late 80s when airbags first came out. And it's amazing the amount of data is captured at that point when the bag pops.
So I love you guys. That's a great question. That's a terrific question. And then actually, that is something that we're also asking when we're actually looking at these systems. We see that as a horrible, slippery slope. And what we have done as we're asking these systems, we do not want any recording. We don't want any of that information going back to the anyone else. The cameras should be for the driver to keep them engaged, not to have video footage or pictures to be used against them.
Right.
Or just pay more on a policy.
Well, that's a lot of information. We really appreciate you joining us today.
Really?
Happy to be on.
That was a great overview of how the systems work.
Yeah. Jake, thanks again. We appreciate it. Let's stay in touch. It's consumerreports.org. We thank you again.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Very cool.
That was cool.
Very cool.
Learn something new
when an
every
airbag
day.
goes off, you got to think of the tie back is, because you got to remember, one of the things that happens if the bag deploys and on OnStar, it immediately communicates to OnStar that a bag deployed. Well, believe me, there is a stream of data that goes along with that, and how easy would it be to integrate this data to that?
What about a backseat driver?
Oh gosh,
There's that.
this is the backseat driver.
Want to do the cruise-in calendar? That's what I've got on the list to do next.
Okay. Coming up here is a couple of weeks is going to be the new location up here at for Coffee and Chrome, right?
Avalon Diner.
Avalon Diner.
Yeah. Over at the Fountains in Stafford.
On the very south side of the Fountains in Stafford. But yeah, good parking. Driving by there this morning, you could see there's lots of space. So that's going to be the first Sunday of the month, so coming up in February.
Right.
Also on the 29th is the Houston Cruise and Shine meet in Guadalupe Park. Going to meet up there and drive down to Herman Park. On the 30th is Freddy's Car Show from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Freddy's Steakburger in League City. Saturday, February 5th is going to be Come Show Off Your Cool Vintage Car out in Cold Spring, the Cold Spring Courthouse Square. And then the Winter Conroe Swap Meet, February 18th, Lone Star Throwdown. But the big thing coming up is... starting Thursday? Starting Thursday.
Open to the
Houston
public
Auto Show.
Thursday, yeah. And as a matter of fact, Houston Auto Show, we're going to have a set up there, and we're going to do a special broadcast on opening day, Thursday, and it ought to be good.
You're throwing out the first pitch. Opening day.
Wednesday, actually.
First pitcher of margaritas.
All right, time now for this hour's car review, the 2021 Mercedes-Benz 43 GT AMG. It's a lot.
Doodah.
Okay, so available trim levels on this four-door sedan: GT43, GT53, GT63, and GT63S.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. I reviewed the GT43. It's a compact sedan, according to the government. I'd call it as a mid-size sedan, but that's just me. 4 passengers, because the back seats are just
Buckets.
twos. So what they used to call a 2+2, remember that? Yeah. Okay. All new trim level for this year is the 43. Sleek, aerodynamic four-door sedan with fastback hatch and forward-leaning grille. Yes, it does have a hatch back there. It's kind of cool.
Neat.
Skinny wraparound taillights, huge Mercedes-Benz emblem in the center of the grille.
Huge.
Small emblem / vent behind the wheel openings up front. Black wheels look evil in a good way.
Yep.
I really like
Menacing.
that look, especially on a white car. What I like, the overall badassness look. I put that on there. I even wrote that.
Part of
Is
that's
that a technical term?
It is.
Is it with two S's?
Well, but part of that's the stance of the car, because you think SUV that it's going to ride high. That rode low on the wheels and tires, and they really filled up the wheel
But you
wells.
call it an SUV. It's a sedan.
What could use improvement? Nothing. High interior highlights.
Oh.
Yeah, because I need to
No, this
continue.
is go.
I'm sorry?
Go.
Would you like to? Here, you want to do this?
Yeah,
Nope,
give it to
not
him.
in the least.
Leave it to him.
Gorgeous, high bolstered seat. It's really nice. Real wood accents that wrap around from the dash to the doors. Ultra high-tech screen that goes from the instrument cluster right on over to through the infotainment system. It's all one great big long screen. Cargo trunk room limited to fastback design. And what I liked about it, the sexy look of the interior, it really was hot looking. Could use improvement. Confusing layout and complicated touchpad controller. I just do not. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my age. I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of all those things. But dude, that touchpad thing, Lexus has it as
Just
well.
don't like it.
Well, the problem is that you have to look where you're actually moving the cursor on the screen and hit that. It's like takes your eyes off the road. Now you're looking at the screen. It just is a
the
complicated
distraction.
thing. Yeah. 3-liter inline six-cylinder with the twin turbos for 362 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, 9-speed automatic transmission. Miles per gallon, 20 on the city is what it's rated. Highway is 25 for a combined of 22. I got 23.3 over 356.8 miles. What I liked about it, not too much power, but just enough.
Just right.
It was just right.
And that's good
if
fuel
you want,
mileage
if you
for that
want
kind of
over
power.
600 horsepower, that's that big thing that I was telling you about earlier.
The 63
The 63S. Yeah. No. This is Mercedes-Benz. You're going to BMW.
Sorry.
All right. Ride and handling is adjustable. What I liked about it, the German quickness of its steering and handling. What could use improvement? Interior noise.
Really?
Now, you would think that this great big four-door sedan wouldn't have the interior noise. It's almost as noisy as my 21-year-old Corvette on the inside.
Wow.
Seriously?
Yep.
And
have you driven this yet?
No.
Yeah. Well, hope you do, because I think that you'll agree with me. It's loud in here.
Man.
And a Mercedes. You wouldn't think that, would you? Anyway, pricing. Sitting down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Base trim price is $89,900. Price is tested $97,475.
Well, $8,000 spread from prices tested to base price.
$97,475. Base model price, by the way, is $89,900. Same as the base trim price, because the trim is.
No, this is
the
a pretty
level.
high level model.
Well,
AMG.
Yeah.
okay. So competitors, the Audi S7 starts at $84,400.
S7.
S7.
Which is the level above the A7.
BMW 8 Series Grand Coupe for $85,000, or the Porsche Panamera, Jeff's car, $87,200.
And it's all right there in the price range.
They are.
Competitive price point
So,
of just short of $100,000.
and with tax, it's over $100,000. So that's my review of the 2021 Mercedes-Benz AMG GT 43.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for being you, and don't go changing to try to please me. Billy Joel's coming to town.
we won't.
Well, I know that. Then don't.
No, I didn't know Billy Joel was coming to town.
Yeah, I saw an ad on the TV last night that Billy Joel's coming to town.
You're not going to go see Adele?
I'm not going to go see Adele. Darn. No, not my cup of tea.
Okay.
But I would go see Lady Gaga.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
I really like her a lot.
She's
You know
an
why?
amazing artist.
Because he dresses like her.
It's her brand of red pumps he has.
Don't tell anybody.
The Lady Gaga red pumps.
Oh, Lord. I guess it's time for us to take a break. In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available from your favorite podcast channel. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break.
You're invited to the event of the year. The Houston Auto Show and Houston Boat Show are getting hitched. January 26th through the 30th at NRG Center. The Auto Show and Boat Show unite for the first time ever. Take a test drive, board your dream boat, check out the latest and greatest models. One ticket gets you into 2 great events. The Houston Auto and Boat Show, January 26th through 30th at NRG Center. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupe Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupe trophies. It all happens at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, the place to go for entertaining car talk. Ahead, we talked to one of the Dodge boys and what they have up their sleeves for 2022. Conrad has the popular This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin.
Yes.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today. Do we have the Mopar guy?
Yes, we do.
We do. Oh, that's great. Well, I'm just a little shocked. That's all.
What?
Well,
What?
It just usually doesn't happen this easily.
That
So
quick. Oh, my God.
yeah, exactly.
He's good. He's here.
You're good, Mike. He's
good.
You're
here
good.
and
Chad's
Yeah.
good.
Chad Seymour, manager of Direct Connection, Mopar, Dodge, Stellantis. Hey, what?
I was talking to Jeff over here. You're not supposed to be listening.
Well, you need to take your microphone away. What?
Anyhow.
We've only been doing this for 11 years, Chad, so you'll have to forgive
it's not
us.
11 years yet.
We're like doctors. We're practicing because we never get it right the first time.
Exactly. So, Chad's great to. Hey, thanks for joining us on a Saturday. We know you probably are only day off of the week and got the kids and all that stuff, but thanks for taking the time. Manager of Direct Connection. Tell everybody what Direct Connection is.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So Direct Connection is really the next evolution for Dodge. As you guys might know, right, Dodge is an American muscle car brand. And really for us, how do we take it to the next level for our customers? So really the focus is growing our portfolio of performance parts, expanding those parts and the performance parts, getting those into customers' hands, because we know that our customers are trying to get every bit of performance out of their cars. We provide, the most popular, most powerful, fastest muscle cars on the planet. And really, that's the next evolution for us. We know that 44% of our customers are upgrading their muscle car in some form from a performance standpoint. So with that being said, it just makes sense for us to offer performance parts to these customers. What we are able to do, since we are the manufacturer and we are developing this with our engineers, they are validated and they're proven for our vehicles. So what we're able to do is maintain the customer's vehicle factory warranty. So their 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty coverage, their 5-year, 60,000 powertrain coverage, all of that stays intact when they use our parts. With that being said, they're also EO certified, so peace of mind. Customers don't have to worry about being emissions compliant with these parts.
And is that whether they buy it online, over the counter, or are they required to have the dealer do the installation to get the warranty coverage?
That's a great question. So a big piece of this, there's two programs that will work in tandem. First is Direct Connection, which is the performance parts portion of the program. That's your performance parts. The new performance parts will be offering stage kits, Challenger charger upgrades from engine, driveline, suspension, etc. But another key element of this whole program is we are going to roll out certified Dodge dealer network, which we are calling Dodge Power Brokers. The reason why that's important,
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
The reason why that's important, because we know, look, at the end of the day, it's all about the experience, right? We want to make sure that our dealers that are selling these parts, installing these parts in customers' cars, they can have that conversation with the customer because they had the appropriate training. They talk the talk, walk the walk. And what that enables us to do then is elevate that customer experience at a dealer level. With that being said, you hit the point right on. When installed by a Dodge Power Brokers dealer, that's when the customer can maintain their vehicle factory warranties with these parts.
So I don't mean to confuse the issue. Maybe it's me that's confused. So is there still a Mopar division?
Yeah, so Dodge is collaborating with Mopar to roll out this program. Mopar is obviously the parts network for Stellantis. Mm-hmm. So we are working hand in hand with Mopar to ensure that we can get these parts into dealers' hands, into customers' hands, and we can leverage that, like I said, that certified network with these new exclusive parts.
So Direct Connection is strictly Dodge.
Yeah, so what Dodge has done is like I said, they're working hand in hand with Mopar. Yeah. Mopar is actually the distribution of the parts, but we're focused on our Dodge dealer network to ensure that elevated customer experience that I talked about.
Interesting. Okay, I got it now.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So with that, to be a power dealer for Dodge Mopar, is that going to be they have to reach a certain level of certification, of training of technicians, training of, I'm assuming, more parts people than front end sales people, but is that all part of how they earn that right to be a power dealer?
Absolutely. So what we'll be looking at to certify a Dodge Power Broker so that they become a certified Dodge Power Broker dealer, what we'll be looking at is their sales, service, and parts departments, and ensuring that they have the comprehensive knowledge, expertise, as well as the information that they need to share with the consumer to maintain that customer experience. What we'll be looking at is their track record. They have a proven track record working in this market, and then also that their sales and parts and service personnel are trained and have the knowledge to have that conversation with customers, sell these parts, install them on our cars, and make sure that the customer at the end of the day has a good experience.
So he might have a whole network of Yanko dealers, if you pardon the expression.
Power brokers.
Yeah.
And now, is that also going to, I'm going to get away from the warrantable stuff on the new cars and go to maybe the guy building a resto mod. Are only the power brokers going to be able to sell the crate engines as well? Is that how the tie-in? Because it's not just crate engines. You guys sell the crate engine along with the exhaust system, the transmissions, the wire harness, and ECMs to make it basically buy this package and put it in your hot rod. Is that only going to be available through the power broker?
What we're doing is we're rolling out all of our new performance parts will be exclusive to the Direct Connection dealer network. So we have a whole host. We have approximately 30 new performance parts that we're bringing to market. They're primarily right now focused on Challenger performance upgrades. We have a drag pack kit. So we have 13 different kits that literally customers can build their own drag pack from the ground up. With that being said, we also offer the legacy parts. So those are the parts that we have in market today. So, for example, the crate engines, as you referred to, those will also be sold through the Direct Connection program through Power Brokers dealers, but customers can also continue to get them through our current dealer network.
Okay, so it's not restricted.
Yeah. So if I've got a 70 Challenger,
yep,
You wish you had a
No.
70 Challenger.
Let's just say I've got a 70 Challenger roller, and I want to put a crate Hellcat motor in it. Can I go to the power broker dealer and actually have that installed, or I can only just buy it and bring it home and do it myself?
That's a great question. So that's really up to the dealerships. I know there's dealerships out there that do some of that work. We're focused on the modern performance parts and the installation. The reasoning behind that is the fact, again, when you install the new performance parts into a modern day Charger, Challenger, or even a Durango, we're able to offer that warranty coverage.
Okay.
So that's really where our focus is. But the crate engines, it's up to the dealer, what the dealer chooses to do.
How far they want to get involved in it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. We've got some images that we pulled off the website. I think Darren actually sent a link over to that we're rolling in the background. I'm not sure if you can see them or not, but we're off the website, and it's got some of the modern Challengers and stuff in it. But it does have some of the old school, direct connection drag cars, that were in there. Sox, I don't think it's Sox and Martin, not Sox and Martin, but anyway, those guys back then, they were racing probably before you were born, just looking at you.
Great.
Yeah, I was born right about the time when Direct Connection first came out, actually.
Yeah.
So you guys know Direct.
What year was that? About 1970?
1974.
74. I was close.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
Mopar.
I remember the advertising on television with the star.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's what really makes this program great. We're able to leverage that rich heritage that we have with Direct Connection. A lot of the events and races that I go to, I love seeing the vanity plates and the branding. There's a lot of interest in the market to this day. So it just makes sense with bringing Direct Connection back for this program and really bringing a lot of those elements back. For example, we're bringing the tech hotline back. So you can get information straight from the manufacturer on parts.
Yeah, that's going to be real good because that'll, there's such a passion for the Mopar brand around, and when you look at how many new ones are getting modded, having access to a technical engineer of some kind on the other end of the phone and getting extra information about what's available and how easy it can be to integrate into your vehicle.
So, Chad, I have to ask you, are you familiar with a venue called the Hemi Hideout?
I am not. No.
Okay, well, I want to give you a tip.
Oh, yeah.
John Hovis is a dear friend of ours, and he has a wonderful collection of Mopars, Challengers, everything that you guys have ever built from the 1970s.
Muscle era.
Man.
The
Big
muscle
blocks.
era. And he has a venue out in a city just to the west of us out here near Brookshire that is truly tremendous. And look it up online. HemiHideout.com. The guy's name is John Hovis, good friend of ours. And I know that he would love to get in touch with you guys. He doesn't do any resto mods anymore. He's just a collector. But I will tell you that if you guys ever want to have a corporate meeting anywhere around in Texas and especially around Houston, John Hovis's Hemi Hideout would be a perfect place for you guys.
If you ever come to Houston, let us know ahead of time, and we'll connect you guys here in town.
Hell, we'll cart you out there.
Yeah.
You'll be impressed.
Yeah, it's.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep. Well, so
let me,
go ahead.
before you go too far, I want to ask another question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I can't. Theoretically, I could take my 70. So let's say I've got a Hellcat. And, I've got it. I've always wondered what it'd be like to have one with 411 gears or something like that in it. And I keep asking. I asked Kaniskas a couple of times, what can I up the boost? Can I put the gears? He never would give me a good answer on it. He'd just smile. So theoretically, I could go to the power broker dealer, buy a set of 411 gears from Mopar, and have them installed into my Hellcat Challenger.
So what we actually offer for the Hellcat is we have a what we call a red eye differential. So you can upgrade to the red eye differential in your Hellcat, and you can have that done at your Dodge Power Brokers dealer.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay. So so basically, there's
You
still things
don't
you can
need
do.
to be trying to put
No.
anything on your car. Trust us.
When did you get a 70 Challenger? When?
In my
Well, they
dreams.
also offer higher RPM torque converters.
I see that, yeah.
I posted your catalog link on our Facebook page. And
Thank you.
I've been kind of scanning it while we're talking.
He's
going,
been
oh my
shopping.
God.
Yeah,
He's been shopping.
The catalog's full.
Yeah.
Can I just put your name down on the catalog?
Sign this.
as a discount.
Thank you, Chad.
Merry Christmas.
Well, the beauty of all of these kits, you've proven them to be not only effective but efficient enough that you're going to cover them under warranty when they're installed by a power broker dealer.
How would you like to be the 22-year-old college grad working at a car dealership and they say, Conrad, we want you out there on the line installing these packages on all these hot rods.
Sign me
I
up.
know. Wouldn't
Sign
that be
me
a hoot?
up.
Wow.
I'm just going to be the service tech that does the test drive afterwards and cleans the car.
And I'm going to be the guy standing behind you guys doing the play-by-play.
Exactly.
Now Mr. Mars is over here attempting to do some sort of wiring. Has got it totally jacked up.
So, and again, back to the dealer experience, the power broker experience. I order my 2022 Challenger, and I want the upgrade of the Stage 1 or Stage 2 package. And I want it done before I take delivery. Is that financeable in the new car deal?
Yeah, that's really the beauty of this program. You hit it right on the head.
God. Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Before you continue, let me soak that in for just a moment. So in other words,
one right.
So now I can get the bank involved in my hot roddom.
Hot roddom.
Yeah.
That is just too cool.
Yeah, but I love it because if you let's say you could afford the $80,000 Hellcat, but you really, I mean, that's all you got. You got 10 to put down, but you can't afford.
Mrs. Hempstead at the bank. Yes, it's a package that, and we just needed a little bit more power to tow the glamper.
The 700 plus wasn't enough.
Yeah. Right. So you just finance it, and now
Chad,
you got it.
This is all your fault. Look what you've started on a Saturday morning.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's cool.
Yeah, so we can get it all. We can get it financed through our dealer and the loan office at the bank.
No, but I
so
use the Hellcat, but realistically, though, you're talking about, I'm assuming, Chad, you could do something like this. I'm buying a Ram 2500, and I want a little more juice in it because I am going to be some towing. Could I go? I could go into here.
But that's
There a direct connection parts catalog for the trucks as well?
Our current portfolio is focused on the Dodge Challenger,
Okay.
Charger, Durango. Yeah.
all right.
we said that I think at
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah, he does. It comes back, but I got excited about doing that to my truck.
I was thinking a Dart.
Mrs. Hempstead at the bank, she'll be, oh, sure, we'll go ahead and approve that $100,000 Dodge Challenger. And I understand you're having a few. Just have them send us the Monroney on the upgrades that you're having installed on the car.
I think Stellantis would like to finance that as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, the
In-house.
Durango, he said the Durango's included in that. That's a pretty good tow vehicle. It's a good size you could do, and they make an SRT model of that.
You're just trying to twist this around to get yourself out of this, aren't you?
Yep. Or get himself into it.
Well, either way. Some days you take what you can get,
What
There's
time
that.
is the dealer open today?
And I also understand
bank open.
that your racing connection is going to be Tony Stewart Motorsports.
Yes. So we have a new partnership that we just announced here just recently. So Tony Stewart, it will be the new race team for Dodge with NHRA. So we'll have Leah Pruitt in a top fuel car and Matt Hagan in a funny car. So really excited about that program going forward.
And who's your point person? Because we're going to connect with them out there at the Spring Nationals here in
Houston.
In Houston in
April.
Or Chad, come on down for the race and we'll take you to the Hemi Hideout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, put it all
would
together.
love to.
Yeah, make a
That
package.
would be fantastic.
So who's your boss? We'll just go ahead and have them foot the bill, and you can just come on down.
You could send that to Tim Kaniskis.
That's perfect. We know Tim.
Wait, we're not going to slow down. Yeah, we're not going to go to anybody's shore. Let's go straight to the top.
Just go.
Exactly. Chad, it's been a pleasure, man, and I hope you don't mind all the teasing and the fun.
I love it. Thank you. Pleasure is all mine.
And when is all this going to be ready? The Power Broker?
So everything will go live on March 9th.
Okay.
Is when we'll
All
launch
right.
the program.
Okay. Cool.
We'll be
Make a
waiting.
note of that.
We'll be waiting, and we'll be waiting for you on camera for the big announcement online.
Yeah.
All right.
And bring a crate with you.
Yeah, do that.
Full of elephant.
Yeah. Chad, thanks again. Chad Seymour with Dodge Direct Connection. Hey, we'd love to hear
Thanks,
from you.
sir.
Please just shoot us an email, and the address is info@inwheeltime.com. And if you're going to email us, well, good luck, because I can't even email us.
Yeah, I'm not getting them.
yeah.
This week in auto history.
Oh, wait, I got to load that. I'm going to There you go. Is that today?
That's why you have the schedule, Jeff.
Is that today?
Yeah. Dear God.
I don't look at no stinking
You know,
schedule.
Well, each week,
everybody's going to visit us in the nursing home next week.
each week we do a segment on what's going on this week in automotive history. And in 1942, Ford Motor Company signed on to make Jeeps as an additional production facility for Jeep going out into the out into all the World War II market, so to speak. I guess they couldn't keep up. American Bantam and Willys couldn't keep up with production. So
Well, no, because they were making a billion of them a day.
they made 600,000 of them over the term of World War II, and Ford had their piece of it. So they going to war production.
There's 400,000 of them still driving.
Yeah, no kidding. And then in 1953, the Chevrolet Corvette was introduced to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. And, the Corvette originally was trying to feed that market of the World War II veterans coming back after experiencing the sports cars of Europe. And then they come out with the Corvette first couple of years with the Blue Flame six-cylinder.
235 cubic inch, by the way.
And then coming out for the V8 in 55.
I got to see number 2.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was eye-opening because the quality of the finish, the paint job, and all of that sort of stuff, absolutely nuts. The way that they originally made that car, you could actually see the fiberglass below the paint.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, because that looks like you in the shot to the far left, leaning over.
Yeah,
The
that's
third
me.
guy from the right.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
it.
it's amazing how few 53s were built and even fewer 54s were built.
Correct.
Where, I think it was actually less than 500 in 54.
It's amazing that Chevrolet General Motors continued to build
that car, right.
because it was just really a failure in every sense of the word.
53 and 54, 55. Once they put the V8 in it, all of a sudden
Correct.
it started to accelerate.
And I told you about, I'm sorry to interrupt your
You're
show,
good.
but
You're good.
that went up there and went and saw a car that was pre-production, is really a sales piece for them to keep the Blue Flame 6, but supercharge it. And I got to see that car. It's a one-off.
Oh, wow.
And it is truly amazing to see. And instead of the script across the nose of it that says Corvette, they put supercharged in that same area of
Wow.
the nose.
What a cool car.
Yeah.
What a cool car.
Yeah. So they were trying to stave off the switch to the V8.
V8.
Yeah.
And then in 1954, Hudson Motor Car merged with Nash Kelvinator, the people who made refrigerators.
I was going to say.
We used to make fun of that car when it was brand new.
Oh, well, but you got to think that's really the first, my opinion, the first true compact, volume built compact in the U.S.
And if you tip it up on end, it does look like a refrigerator.
Ugly.
So that happened in 54. And then in 1955, with GM and Motorama, they started showing the Cadillac. Now, this is a Cadillac Park Avenue show car. So, you got to think there was also an El Camino Cadillac that was built in the same generation.
Yeah,
How
buddy.
those names have gone off to other brands to be different vehicles. But this was kind of the forerunner of the 57 Eldorado Brougham or
Yeah.
56 Eldorado
That's
Brougham.
Broham.
Well, so you can kind of see a lot of that design, but again, this car came out in 55. Beautiful
Yeah, it
car.
is. It really
But
is.
how, when you look at it, how much less chrome there is on the front than the production vehicle that was,
And the Dagmars.
Oh, you betcha.
Yeah, I was going to say.
this is a little bit cleaner front
What
end.
were you going to say?
No, never mind.
In 1964, the first Porsche Carrera GTS, a lasting favorite.
That looks
of
like
the-
a GT40.
Right. But, this is 64, same generation basically as that was coming out. This was actually a saleable production unit.
It looks like the Mach 5.
Speed Racer.
Yeah.
You know-
Spritle and all them.
And
Trixie.
The first one was delivered to a customer in L.A. The car would go 163 miles an hour in 1964. It had a 2-liter 4-cylinder in it that put out 180 horsepower, which was a significant amount of power in those days. But it only tipped the scales at about 1,500 pounds.
Wow.
And then in 2009, well, we can show another picture. In 2009, the Gran Torino movie was released with
Clint Eastwood.
Was that a 70? 69?
No, it's a 73, I believe, Gran Torino. Yeah. Stunning car.
Beautiful.
And
huge. It was a huge
big car, yes.
And think of that body style was used in a couple other movies and Starsky and Hutch, you know, how popular that was back in.
Very, very cool car.
My boss at Richardson Chevrolet, he had a Ford Torino.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he hit it somehow on the back lot because the Richardsons were all going crazy about cars like that.
And then Gran Torino was Clint Eastwood's most profitable movie.
Great movie. 91 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
I saw that just recently. Was his birthday. Happy birthday, Clint. We know you're a fan, and we know you watch.
What's
that's the back view. That's kind of out of sequence. That's the back view of the Porsche GTS.
Out of sequence.
Okay. Are we done now?
We are done. That is This Week in Automotive History.
Thank you very much. Time now for This Week in Automotive News. Ford Motor Company recalling 200,000 older model cars because of potential separated brake pedal bumper.
What?
I know.
What exactly is a brake pedal bumper?
It's a stopper on your pedal. You know, when you go to the bottom, there's a...
Well, that's what I thought it was, but I thought, really?
The bumper is a rubber piece at the stopper, so you don't feel metal to metal in your foot.
So you don't hit the floor anymore.
Yeah.
I get that. But so they're recalling potential separated brake pedal bumper. That's important?
I would assume it's very important because now you're extending the travel of the brake pedal and what happens inside the master cylinder when that goes on.
The malfunction could cause the brake lights to illuminate continuously, confusing other drivers on the road, according to NHTSA's report. Ford recalling certain Fusion and Lincoln MKZ sedans from 14 and 15 model years and certain 15 Mustangs with this brake pedal bumper thing. Vehicles sold.
Great, a Mustang with a brake problem.
All sold or registered throughout the southern United States as exposure to high temperatures and humidity can cause the brake pedal bumper to corrode.
So every one of them in Houston.
Exactly.
Rubber baby bubby bumper.
There's really nothing as far as the big recalls this week for the other big automakers. Illegible instrument cluster display on 22 model Santa Fe hybrids and plug-in hybrids.
Both of them.
Yeah, both. And then of course there's the blow-away windshield, because inadequate windshield bonding is causing Hyundai to recall 20 and 21 model Elantras, Santa Fe's, and Sonatas because of bonding issues.
Well,
I've had some bonding issues, but not like that.
At least 3 of them. The point of that is if you understand how the passenger side airbag deploys, it goes up from the dash, bounces off the windshield to catch the passenger. So if it goes up from the dash and the windshield ends up on the hood, it doesn't come and properly hold on to the passenger as the bag deploys.
Yeah, there is that too. Oh, well. Vehicle buyers' satisfaction with the shopping experience dimmed last year as they encountered a shortage of new models and higher sticker prices. No shock there.
No kidding.
But they remain happier with the process overall than before the onset of the pandemic. What are you all doing over there?
Looking.
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
Just watching
working.
stuff.
This has got to be some sort of...
No, we're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine. We're just fine-tuning.
Well, then why don't you sit down if everything is fine?
Well, it'll be fine as soon as he sits down.
So tell us another piece of news. So you heard that...
No. This is my turn.
Okay.
The findings signal that auto retailers have adjusted their purchase processes during the pandemic in ways that resonate with consumers.
Mm-hmm. So
no, still not your turn. You already had your turn. The European Commission's strategy to phase out combustion engines in favor of EVs is a political choice that carries environmental and social risks. That, according to Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares. And he's talking to European newspapers the other day. He says, since merging Fiat, Chrysler, Peugeot, and PSA Group, Tavares has mapped out $34 billion in electrification plans that helped Stellantis shares surge more than 60% in the first year. What is clear that, he says, that electrification is a technology chosen by politicians and not by industries.
Right. Or consumers.
Yep. Stellantis will announce a new long-term strategic plan on March 1st. So I think that Chad, our guest he mentioned something along those lines. And so we look forward to big news out of Stellantis on the 1st of March.
The electrification.
Electrification, all sorts of different things I have.
Theoretically.
Theoretically. And it is time now for us to take a quick break. So you didn't have a chance to ease that in, but I'll try to make more time for you.
We will. Oh, I always have little news pieces to go
He's
along
got nuggets.
with yours.
He's got beaver nuggets over here.
Oh, God.
Some are short.
I
some are a
wish we
couple
had
of
some
seconds
beaver
long.
nuggets and milk this morning.
All we need is a beaver.
All right. Time now for a
Buc-ee's.
quick break. We'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Show.
You're invited to the event of the year. The Houston Auto Show and Houston Boat Show are getting hitched. January 26th through the 30th at NRG Center. The Auto Show and Boat Show unite for the first time ever. Take a test drive, board your dream boat, check out the latest and greatest models. One ticket gets you into 2 great events. The Houston Auto and Boat Show, January 26th through 30th at NRG Center. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupe Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupe trophies. It all happens at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. It's In Wheel Time, your place to go for entertaining car talk. Coming up, NHRA Top Fuel driver Antron Brown joins us to talk about being a new team owner. Woohoo! And the upcoming professional drag racing season. We need more Jeff. Reviews our pre-owned car of the week this hour, the 2019 Kia Soul. Later, Conrad has the car clinic, and we'll also have the stories making auto news headlines this week. Just ahead on this edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeffrey Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today, as we are every Saturday. How are you doing over there, Mars?
I'm working on it. He's coming in.
Is he?
Yes, sir.
Hey, we're dialing him in as we speak. We're tuning him up and getting ready to go with Antron. Because I have some questions. I have lots of questions always, but I have particular questions.
Leave on yellow.
Because we haven't spoken. Pardon me?
Here he is.
Oh, okay. Antron.
How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Where in the hell are you? I mean, you're talking to us from Mars?
No, I'm not in Mars at all, but let me, can you guys hear me okay?
Well, it's a little fuzzy, but, that's okay.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah. So he's going to switch something around. Oh, boy.
And we locked you in.
Oh, boy.
No, there he is. There he
got
is.
me now.
Now that's
Yeah,
much
it's
better.
much better.
Much better. How have you been?
Man, I've been
Busy?
Good. It's been real good.
Yeah, busy, I'll bet.
It's been nonstop. We've been photo shoots, putting trailers together, putting race cars together, putting sponsorships agreements together. We've been busy full circle, but you know what? It is coming together, and I'm liking it. I'm loving it. And I'm truly blessed with the group of people that we have here at AB Motorsports.
Yes, AB Motorsports. It has a new sponsor this year.
We got a few new sponsors. We do. We have a big new sponsor this year, and our big new sponsor that we just came on board with is Lucas Oil.
And I was very. I had to do a double take when I saw Brandon Bernstein. Is he working for Lucas's?
Brandon is the director of all partnerships. So Brandon,
how cool.
Brandon is up there once where he used to acquire the sponsorship. Now he's the one you got to go get one through.
He's jumped the fence.
Well, I will say this.
No wool over Brandon's eyes. Trust me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
well, look who his teacher has been, Kenny Bernstein.
Oh, yeah.
So we all know Kenny, and great guy, and I hope that everybody's doing well up there. But I was really surprised and nicely surprised that Brandon Bernstein is your go-to guy at Lucas Oil and your new sponsorship. The other thing too, I was kind of surprised at, you guys have a working alliance with Justin Ashley's team.
Yes, we do. And with Justin Ashley Racing and Davis Racing, it's been a little while coming, but we formulated together because now, in the atmosphere you have now with supply and demand, the supply structure is down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because can't find people to make this. You can't get materials because you can't make the materials. Stuff like that. And then, so to actually help us both out by joining up forces and collaborating on a few things, we're able to order parts and pieces and get a discounted rate. And we're able to work on different things together. Because Justin Ashley also is a part of the Toyota family also too now. And also he's part of the Lucas Oil family. So we have a lot of the same partners and stuff on different arenas, and we're able to help out. And we're able to help out on the racetrack too, where you're going against these teams that got 2 cars, 3 cars. Like, you got to go against Steve Torrance, who's the champ. Well, he's got his dad's car, Billy Torrance, that runs
data.
Phenomenal. He's got Trip Tatum's car that they help out, runs incredibly well. He helps out Scott Palmer. They've got like 4 cars over there that can win races. And then you go over on the other side of it. Now you're going to have, on Force side, you have Brittany Force with Austin Prock. They're going to have 2 cars. So you got to find a good stablemate that you can team up with so you can actually help each other out to push each other forward. You know what I mean? It's like one of those deals. You just can't do it by yourself. You got to have that sidekick with you.
Well,
you know what I mean? And
got to have a wingman.
That's right. Maverick had Goose.
And with 2 cars, you double the data and you double the testing opportunities that you have as well. So all of that's what makes you better.
Absolutely. And they're just a great group of people over there. You got Justin Ashley also, but you got Mike Green over there with Dustin Davis, Tom DeLago. Their whole crew over there, this men's really good with our crew and people. And then Justin's dad, Mike Ashley, I mean, you don't get more of a optimistic and person than Mike that can actually have you believe in things that you can't even believe in yourself. He's like, you guys can do this. You know what I mean? So when you bring all this nucleus together and you're able to lean on one another and push each other to new heights, that's when you have the unbelievable things happening.
So are you guys going to be pitting together as well, back to back anyway?
Oh, absolutely. We're actually gonna have the Lucas Oil Maco Tools hospitality area.
Yeah.
And Justin will be on one side of it and I'll be on the other side of it.
That's perfect. So when we get invited over there, the In Wheel Time team of the Lucas Oil hospitality tent, then we have the best of both worlds over there, right?
Oh, absolutely. You get a little bit of everything. You see some of our Matco guests or Lucas Oil guests. And then you got Justin on his side with the Phillips Connects. And we have some other people that are part of there, Hanksifers and all the rest of our guys, Toyota. I mean, we got everybody over there that's going to really help out, and we're doing this all together. It's all about being together.
And one of the cool things I saw, because I follow you on Facebook, that you now have the Antron Brown Motorsports VIP hospitality experience. So, as you guys are so available to the population of people, the fans that are walking around the pits, but there's always that little bitty fenced off part that you guys live in that you look for space to escape to. Well, now you're inviting some of the fans to join in that hospitality experience this year.
Well, we want to change things up a lot. You know what I mean? Because for me, I remember coming up in this sport, being on the outside looking in. And every fan is not a fan, they're a teammate. You know what I mean? If they're there to cheer you on, support you, we just want to make it open where they're able to come in and be a part of the special group with like all of our Matco distributors, all of our Matco customers, all of our Lucas Oil customers, our Hank's the First customers, our Toyota customers, our Sirius XM radio customers. And if we can make them be a part of that group, you know what I mean? Because they're a part of us when they're up in the stands cheering us on. We want to give them that extra, that little bit of extra, something that, like when I was young, I wanted to be in that group.
That lifetime memory. That life, yeah, and now that lifetime memory of.
And now you're going to have the in-wheel time group.
And you mentioned something at the outset about teamwork and relying on each other. We do that here every week.
Oh, God.
We rely on each other all the time.
That's right. Well, boxing gloves and all.
Speaking about the importance of a two-car team, Anson and Adler, are they going to be a two-car team as they play in Junior Dragsters again this year?
They're always been a two-car team, and they got to help each other out, and they do. And even though they like to fight every once in a while, just like all siblings do, you know what I mean? But that brings the best out of them. But Adler's going to have to enjoy this last year with his brother. He got his big brother, Anson. This is last year racing Junior Dragster. So my son Anson's going to big cars. All right. And we're going to have some fun with that also. And we're going to have to find some fields that we can go to that they both can race.
That's cool.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of different deals going on, but we'll still have some fun at the Junior Dragster racing deal with Adler, and Anson is going to big car racing. So it's going to definitely change the whole dynamic of the Brown family, because I don't know how I'm gonna be in two different racetracks at the same time when they both got to race.
And a bigger trailer.
We got the right size trailer. I did that in the beginning. I bought it once, so I don't have to buy it twice.
I was looking at you were like a little kid opening up a gift at Christmas as your new trailer arrived, and you kind of gave a bit of a tour of the new trailer.
Yeah, opening the shelves and all the doors and
showing the clutch closet.
Yeah.
He was looking for space to put the Wallies in.
He needs lots of space.
All I can tell you is that's the first Christmas gift that I ever got. That is the gift that keeps giving. It keeps giving me bills.
That's exactly right.
Because you got to fill it up with stuff.
Mm-hmm. Are you still associated with Don Schumacher Racing in some way?
Yeah, like we actually are renting space from DSM, Don Schumacher Manufacturing, and we're actually getting our chassis still built at DSR, and we're still buying parts and pieces from DSM, cylinder heads, different components, and like they're like a one-stop shop up there. So
well, why not go to really the best?
That way. I've been working really hands-on with Chad Oser, who's a son-in-law, who's the president of DSM, and I tell you what, it's good to see somebody fresh coming in, because he is like a breath of fresh air there. He's got a lot of energy. He's vibrant. And he's there to give you what you need. And Matt Archer, who's on the other side of it with Dave Fletcher. I'm thinking about Dan Fletcher the racer, but Dave Fletcher, who's running the parts and pieces room. I mean, they've been spot on, man. Everything that you need, they're communicating, which it's awesome when you get communication. That's the whole thing that people don't understand. When you get somebody that can communicate well with you, where you're at, what's going on, what's coming in, what's happening. That's been a breath of fresh air for us to be able to get the parts and pieces. And we've been working with other vendors out there like Dart Sleeves, Diamond Pistons, and Belfani. and also custom floaters. We've been working with a lot of people out there in industry, Electric Motion, to bring the parts and pieces developed in those relationships with Pack Springs, Victory Valves. I mean, I've been dealing with people before, but now I'm dealing with them on a
Different
first
levels.
name basis, building relationships, and also CNC Performance, who builds our clutches. It's been amazing to develop these relationships and see how much we can actually grow throughout these new years that we got coming in.
So what do you see for yourself and the team coming forward into the 22 season in Pomona?
Man, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to smile when we just show up at Pomona. Because of all the stuff that we have to put together, we started not from ground zero. We bought a lot of our race parts and pieces in our current chassis that we were already running from DSR, but we literally rebuilt our cars from the ground up. We rewired them, rebuilt them, new dashes, different roll cages, new bodies on them. So our race cars had a facelift, and then we've got new parts and pieces we're bringing in. Then we're building, we had to put the trailer together, get everything in there so we can show up at the first race for everything to work. So with that being said, it's all coming together. It's all coming together.
A lot of learning.
So does your PR
when
guy?
we show up at Pomona, that means everything's been might not be finished, but we can get to the racetrack.
It's in the trailer and headed to the track.
They're letting them in the gate.
Yeah. So have you got your hard cards for 2022 yet?
Yes, we haven't got them. We don't get them until we show up at Pomona.
Got it.
So when we show up there, we will have them because all of our applications been turned in and everything's ready to go.
Wow. Hey, at least you got that far. So they won't let you in the gate because you did. Oh, I'm sorry, we forgot to register for this race. We don't have that problem.
We are the first ones on the list registered.
Okay.
We are on that list. Well, and you know what? My crew guys got crew pants. They got polos. They got belts.
Dressed for success.
They're going to be able to dress for success, but I just don't know how we quite getting there yet, but we're going to get there.
Well, yeah, that and once you get there, you probably might be sleeping in the brand new trailer that you've got that's made for parts and pieces.
Hey, let me tell you something. When that trailer came in, I had my arm around my wife. And then when I had my arm around my wife, as those trailers pulled in, my wife goes, "Baby, the start of the race team is here." I said, "I know, baby." I said, "Baby, I sure hope you like that trailer." She looked at me. She goes, "It's nice." I said, "Well, baby, we might be living in it in a couple months."
That's right.
Because I'll tell you, I know how much those trailers are. Ooh, ow. It is unbelievable.
And that's empty. Wait till you put the car and all the parts in it.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. And those 5 engines and everything else. So with this this marriage that you have with the Ashley team, does that include engines as well? I mean, if you blow up a couple of engines and you're short of parts, are going to go next door and grab some?
Well, that's what we're there for. We're there to help each other out. And whatever they need to get by to the next race, if we can help support them and they can help support us, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that's what teammates is all about. We'll work out the parts and piece stuff later. They'll keep making more, but as long as that we can help each other maintain and get through, that's what it all boils down to.
Well, we're really excited for you. I mean, we were excited for you when you made the announcement last year here in Houston, and we're hoping that we're going to grab another interview with you, whether it's through the Toyota guy or you personally, to get you back on the show the weekend of April 22nd here in Houston.
Hey, I can't wait to come back there, and I'm kind of sad because I don't want to see Houston go. That's one of my favorite racetracks to go to. So,
amen. We agree.
This might be the last year, but maybe somebody down there in Houston can actually make another race facility, or maybe they could build a new one. I mean, that's definitely a market we love going to, and is rich in racing history for sure.
Well, I will tell you that if you're not going to be here in Houston, we're coming to Dallas because that's the closest we got.
Come on, you'll. Hey, Dallas is a really nice facility too, and it's crunch time. We go to Dallas, so you will not be disappointed when you come to Dallas for sure.
Well, we're going to try to make that happen. Antron, it's great to talk to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime.
So much.
Well, it's great being on. I appreciate you, fellas. And hey, we're going to be in Pomona. and we'll be down there in Houston.
You stay warm up there in Indy.
Will do.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye. So much fun.
It is.
Yeah, I've
Great.
got his Facebook and his website up on our page.
Cool.
Just if people want to connect, and it's a worthwhile connection because it. Like I said, I follow Antron on Facebook, and some of the stuff he puts up is hilarious. Some of it's very straight and informative, but some of it's hilarious.
Yeah, and he puts up a surprising amount of material that goes up there about their progress and what they're doing.
You know, I first met him when he was riding pro stock motorcycles. He was the same today as he was 15 years ago when I met him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just as calm and straight across and as fun to be with, and very engaging guy. And what a great communicator with NHRA. I mean, you want an interview, go to Antron.
Yes.
And he always tells you like it is, but in a nice way.
And he's always smiling.
Yep.
He's one of these guys. He's always having fun, or he's enjoying doing whatever he's doing at the moment.
And very well respected in the industry of motorsports,
Yep.
Beyond just NHRA. And that's pretty cool. And I think some of that's probably the way he treats people because,
There's another guy that is on the same level, but not quite as popular as Antron, and that would be Sean Langdon. Great guy. I've known him. Well, I met him through Stan, and he was just the same then as he is today. So there are those guys that their ego hasn't gotten so big that you can't approach them. It's refreshing and nice to know. Okay. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, our email address is, if it works, info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for the racing calendar, speaking of racing.
Well, speaking of racing, first thing coming up is going to be the 24 Hours of Daytona, and that is going to be January 30th. They're doing the Roar at the 24 right now, which is kind of the week before testing. So that's IMSA with the Cadillac prototypes.
Oh, yeah.
The Corvette. Now Corvette has changed classes, and they're running GTD Pro. They're no longer GTLM because that classification has gone away. So now they're running GTD Pro, which is a GT3 car. So in the class, they're running against the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, the Porsches.
Did they have to do anything to the car?
Yeah, they had to make some changes to the car. One of the good things about it is now I think they added ABS. I don't think they had ABS at GTLM.
Really?
So they added.
I can't imagine. Why would they have ABS?
Because it makes life easier.
Well, I know, but I mean that's part of driving skills.
Is controlling the brakes.
Yeah, hello.
So again, that's going to be next weekend is the first event, and then coming shortly thereafter is the Daytona Clash at the LA Coliseum. They built a track inside the LA Coliseum.
How is that going to
February.
work?
I have no idea.
Nothing's
we'll see
working.
how
How
it
long
works.
is it? Is it like a quarter mile?
No, I
Let's
think it's
throw some dirt on
3/8.
there.
I think it's 3/8.
Yeah.
It's asphalt though.
It's going to be a banger.
No, it's not asphalt.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah. It's not like what they did at Bristol when they brought all the dirt
in.
They laid asphalt for this.
Oh my God.
And then the 12th, which is the Thursday, dual qualifying races at Daytona, and then on the 14th is going to be the Daytona 500.
What is it, a flat track?
No, it's got a little bit of banking
at
in
the
it.
Coliseum?
It's got a little bit of banking in it.
Really?
NHRA kicks off on February 17th through the 20th at the Winter Nationals for Pomona. Join in and cheer on Antron Brown because that's going to be a fun...
You ever been to Pomona?
No.
It's a very interesting place. It's at the...
airport, isn't it?
No, Los Angeles County Fairgrounds. And
But there's an airport real close.
there's an airport at the end of the runway. Yeah.
That's pretty close, Tom.
It is pretty close. Anyway, yeah, Pomona, it's a special place. If you ever make it to L.A., the couple of things you need to do is to go to the Peterson Collection.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you need to go to Pomona. Because even if there's not a race at Pomona, you got to go to the museum, which is there, which is Art Deco building from, back in the day when
It's like the Guggenheim in New York.
Pretty much.
And then Formula One doesn't start until March. IndyCar starts February 21st in St. Petersburg.
I heard Hamilton won already.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I heard
Broadway.
he's going to retire.
Thank God.
So that's the racing calendar.
Thank you, sir. Pre-owned car of the week. Mr. Jeffrey Zekin has a review of the 2019 Kia Soul. You know, used car prices are up 37%, leading inflation, even more so than the price of a gallon of gasoline. So I'm hoping that we can get us a deal on a 2019 Kia Soul.
Me too. When the Kia Soul was debuted, this is 2019, like it says, almost a decade ago, it defined convention of classification. It occupied an odd middle ground between hatchbacks and crossovers. The SUV didn't really exist at the time. Fast forward to today, the subcompact crossover class not only exists, but it's growing in popularity with car companies scrambling to fill the void. It's a good-looking little front end of that vehicle. It was voted the best small SUV and the cheapest car back in 2019 as well. Base trim prices on these things, or base trim, comes with a standard, because there's different levels. Standard with a 1.6-liter four-cylinder, 130 horsepower to 118 cubic feet of torque, 16-inch alloy wheels, automatic headlights, so on and so on, Bluetooth, 5-inch touchscreen mic. That's important to know, because as we get into the next one, which is the Soul Plus, it includes the convenience package, which is the contents about a 2-liter four-cylinder engine, 161 and 150 on the torque. 6-speed automatic transmission, 17-inch wheels, fog lamps, heated seats, heated mirrors, so that they're adding some more amenities into the vehicle. The Soul Exclaim, I've never heard of this one, but I had to read up on it, adds a 1.6-liter turbocharged four-cylinder, 201 horsepower to 195.
They had that in the press fleet.
Yep.
And you and I had that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love this car.
7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, 18-inch wheels, upgraded the trim. With the Plus, you get an 8-inch touchscreen mic, so you go from a 5-inch to an 8-inch, which is a pretty big increase.
Wow,
than the
I'll
dash.
say.
Size don't matter.
Anytime you go from 5 to 8 inches, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
We've lost control.
Yep. A Harman Kardon premium sound system, designer collection, 18-inch wheels. So as you get into the higher portions,
levels.
Higher levels, you get bigger wheels. Trim. Like we talked about, you've got different trim levels. Obviously, the Kia Soul Exclaim with the 1.6, 7-speed dual-clutch automatic. All these are front-wheel drive vehicles. The comfort side of it, it's a little bit stiffer, it rides stiff, and blame the big wheels, they're saying. So as you increase with the trim levels and you get the bigger wheels, you get a stiffer
recollection of that car is it rides great. It's a great car every time I've ever been in one. I love those cars. I always have.
I know some people that have got them and they love them. They sell one and buy another one.
Well, and it's handy. It's an SUV, a small one, but you fold down the back seats and you're going, look at all the room I got back
here. It's only
here.
two of you in particular.
Yeah, and on the interior, there's a lot of plastic. That's one of the only downsides that they talk about. But in a small car like that, you
haven't gotten to the price yet.
Yeah, right. I haven't. It's a box-shaped utility vehicle. Technology is you get all the technology, the Apple CarPlay and Android systems and things of that nature. It has, obviously the variations of different horsepower, and you want the price. Let me turn the page to the magic price. Let's all get into our in-wheel time decoder rings. So for 2019, based on mileage and condition, you're anywhere from 14.3 to 24.
No,
that's what it would cost today to buy that 19.
I'm going to say in 2019 that the 24 may not have been far from what its price was new.
But
I think when it was new, it was about 20. Yeah. Now, not the Extreme, because they bumped that up. That was the top of the line at the time.
That's what this is.
But my point is, this car is still holding a clean car with fair mileage on it, is still holding a very high resale value in today's world.
The nice thing about those cars, people bought them when they were new. Generally have kept them this long, and it's usually a one owner and somebody that's not going to hot rod it or tear it up. It's just it's a everyday commuter car. Get it?
Yeah, and they're a younger crowd too at the time. They're
generally speaking,
exactly.
And they appeal.
3 years
to that
ago,
crowd.
everybody was younger.
Yeah.
Well, except for Don.
I don't think I was ever younger. I wish I were.
So that's it for the 2019 Kia. Soul.
Cool
some.
car.
Soul,
Very cool
Mr.
car.
Soul, Mr. Soul.
I was invited to the 1971 Westbury High School class, graduating class.
I thought it was 1871.
1871. And I went last night as a guest, and it was an interesting time.
You had fun?
I did have fun.
Good.
Did you bring your own oxygen?
No, they had
We were talking about
a dispensary there.
I was talking to them about that at the table. We're going, somebody had mentioned to me the other day it's going to be kind of like a challenge of wheelchairs, isn't it?
Walkers.
They start playing basketball in the wheelchair basketball game.
Boy.
That's what they do for
I
entertainment.
said if the temperature gets any colder, we're going to have to put some sort of cleats on those walkers
Oh, God.
so we don't slip in the parking
Take
lot.
the kids.
Take the tennis balls off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Jeez,
So were you the
Instead of
guest of
having-
honor?
I was not the guest of honor. Why do you always put me up
Instead
there
of, having a
like
liquor,
that?
instead of having a liquor bar, they got an oxygen bar there. Like at the airports.
Different flavors.
That's right. That's the second booth. The first one is the pot booth.
Do you need New Jersey air or you want LA air? You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Flick back and forth.
Well, I guess it's time to move on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quickly.
Michael's waiting on us, so
Okay. Well, we won't keep him waiting
Oh,
much
he
longer.
knows what we're talking about. He's,
yeah.
All right. Hey, you're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for joining us. We got more coming up. Stay with us.
Oh my goodness.
Oops, that's the wrong thing.
No,
Let me make sure that I've hit the right
We're
button
going.
here. Okay. Are we? Okay.
Yeah, you're late.
You're invited to the event of the year. The Houston Auto Show and Houston Boat Show are getting hitched. January 26th through the 30th at NRG Center. The Auto Show and Boat Show unite for the first time ever. Take a test drive, board your dream boat, check out the latest and greatest models. One ticket gets you into two great events. The Houston Auto and Boat Show, January 26th through 30th at NRG Center. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupe Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupe trophies. It all happens at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com.
Welcome to In Wheel Time, the place for entertaining car talk. Coming up, Michael Wooding with the Auto Appraisal Network and classic car values today. Used cars going up 37%. What's that doing to the classic car segment? We're going to find out. Conrad will put on his smarty pants and teach us his weekly lesson in the car clinic. We'll have this week's auto news. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin, always. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it. The Auto Appraisal Network is a group around the country that have guys that have basic franchises in different cities around. And Michael Wooding is our representative here in the Houston area and does a great job. I have to tell you, man, I really enjoy your posts on Facebook about the cars that you go and actually look at and put a value on them.
And maybe drive a few of them. You lucky dog, you.
Yeah, I hate you.
Do you ever get to drive those cars?
I hate you, Michael.
Well, it depends on the type of appraisal we're doing. Both of the two large collections that I did this month so far were both divorce issues. So the wife's husband's telling her this car is worth $20,000, and the wife's going, well, he's always said it was worth $50,000.
So you go in and lowball them.
Okay.
So you go in and lowball them, right?
Judge Wooding.
Yeah. There you go.
Judge Wooding. There you go.
Pretty regularly. And I don't know why, but I end up working on the wife's side the majority of the
I bet you do. Uh-huh.
So in doing that, have you ever had to sit in court, or is your documentation sufficient for her?
Yes, I've had to do some expert witness testimony where I go in and basically make them understand why certain cars are worth what it's worth.
Oh, my God. So do you usually have a bodyguard with you when you go on these kind of appraisals?
Well, I'll give you an interesting story. I went to one here, it's probably been a year or two ago now. The fella had 6-7 Corvettes, okay?
Yeah.
And I go to the house. It's for the wife, but he's living in the house with the cars, and the cars are all in a big barn.
Uh-huh.
So I show up and tell him who I am, and obviously he's not very pleased to see me. And I told him I need to look at the cars and photograph the cars to appraise them. So he walks me over to this large garage, barn dominium type thing. Mm-hmm. He opens a sliding door about 2 foot wide, and if you know me, I'm a little bit wider than 2 foot. And he says, there they are, appraising. And I said, okay. So I looked in the door, and the first thing I see sitting to the left in a bubble is a 63 split window Corvette.
Oh, my. Yeah.
I said, well, market today on those cars is about $150,000. He goes, that car is not worth $150,000.
That's why it's in a bubble.
It's got this wrong with it and that wrong with it. And I go, well, okay. I see a 58 Roadster there. Oh, those things, that one looked pretty nice. I say that's probably a $70,000, $90,000 car. No way, it's got bad paint on it. The engine's not running. Well, you know what? It would really behoove you to bring each one of those cars out, show me what's wrong with it so I can value it properly for you.
Because from here, they look expensive.
Next thing I know, he's opening the door. He brings every car out. He points out all the faults with them. I get all the pictures taken, and I'm getting ready to go. And he invites me upstairs in his man cave to have a couple of beers with him before I leave.
Wow.
Just to seal the deal.
Yes.
Just to make sure, answer any more questions you got.
It's called sucking up, is what I would call it.
So when this was all done, did he introduce to the wife, and then did he point out all of her faults?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't get that.
Oh, gosh, I can't believe
And you talk about driving the cars, these divorces and that's just to put a value to the car. The ones I get to drive are pre-purchases. Like I did a nice little 57 T-Bird the other day.
The yellow one.
Yeah, that car drove really nice, was in really good condition. Had a fault here and a fault there, but overall a pretty nice car, and it's fun to drive.
I was born in 57, and I've got a few faults, too.
Yeah, he's got a lot. He does.
But I've driven everything from a Duesenberg SJ, a 830 coffin nose Cord, to a late model Ferrari.
Quit bragging.
So why is it all of a sudden, it seems to me anyway, that you're doing so many appraisals? Are people actually moving cars in and out of their collections or selling them off?
Or that many divorces?
Yeah, no. But seriously, what is the deal? I mean, you've been doing a lot.
Yes. And the majority of it, like I said, the large collections have all been divorces because, this COVID's kept people put it up and put away.
I was going to say,
and this, that, and the other. And, they develop problems, and those problems tend to manifest themselves when you're together more than you're accustomed to.
I didn't like you before, and I don't like you at all now.
Even more now,
And now I want half of your car collection.
And if you're watching the Meekum that just went through recently on TV, there's stupid money out there.
Oh, my gosh. And when you value a car for your appraisal, does that value change when Meekum just passed and some of the crazy prices that were paid? Does that increase values?
We monitor Barrett Jackson, Gooding, Vicara, Meekum, virtual all of the large auction houses on what's going across the block, what condition it was in, and what it sold for. And we update that data every 90 days.
Wow. Yeah, because
So that's where we start to see the trend fall. Is each 90 days we'll look at what was it last 90 and what is it now.
Yeah, because Meekham's going to move that needle.
In general, it's back kind of to where it was. The blue chip cars are holding their value and doing well. Okay. And the mediocre cars are kind of starting to fall off a little bit. If it's not just a perfect car, they're not going to pay high dollar for it.
Well, there were some perfect cars went through Macomb. Blew me away. You know me, I'm an Oldsmobile guy. 2 Oldsmobile 442 W30s sold for over $250,000, or right at $250,000 each.
Oh my
at
God!
Macomb.
And they even had
one was a triple black convertible. I think it went for $247. Another one went for $260 something.
They both had ignition switches in them that work. So
yes, they did.
Well, restoration and provenance is what's going to drive that price on that particular car.
Yeah.
An average for the 442 though is just a really nice, good driver car is 90 to 110.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And both of these cars came out of a primo Oldsmobile collector, Spagnola, well known in Oldsmobile.
Old Spanky, I knew him from way back.
Well, but you see cars go through, and now all of a sudden, and I've watched it. Everybody's car on eBay and everybody's car on Craigslist, everybody went up 30% in their car. Even some of them just kind of relisted it. You can kind of go back and look at the older listings. Everybody just kind of bumped their price after Macomb. And I'm assuming that is going to have an impact on what you're doing as appraising cars.
Yes. And like I said, we look at that information every 90 days. So it's going to change somewhat, not on every car, but on certain cars.
Yeah. And with Barrett Jackson coming up this week and next week, that's going to move the needle again because some of that stuff at Barrett's going to go high.
Do you ever have the notion to buy one of the vehicles that you're appraising? I mean, cut a deal with...
Personally, it's an ethics thing for me. If I'm going to appraise the car, I can't personally buy. If they're looking to sell the car, I do turn them on to various collector car buyers here in the Houston market. So that they can, if they don't want people coming to their house to look at the car, they can consign it to these places.
Now, Michael, do you work as an independent or do you work for a specific organization?
Well, like I said, he told you earlier, we're a nationwide company. We're headquartered out of California.
Okay.
And then they sell franchises around the country to car guys. You have to go out to California and run through their little week-long test, and they really test your knowledge as to, what you know about cars and what to look for when you're appraising one and the different types of appraisals and so forth. But we've got probably 80% of the country covered with appraisals.
So if somebody called you with a red and white, because I know your wagon's red and white, 57 Bonneville fuel-injected convertible, you would just appraise, they're wanting to sell it, you wouldn't offer to buy it given the opportunity?
No.
Good. But he would call you and say, hey, would you come and buy this for me?
I would turn on, if they're looking to sell, I'm not going to push them. I just let them know that I know people where they can consign the car and not have to have people coming to their house doing test drives.
All right, so hold on.
That's the right thing to do.
Now, wait just a minute. Now, I have a question. Don Armstrong has a question, personal question. What? Mm-hmm. So if I wanted to get rid of the 2001 Corvette, and I wanted to go ahead and sell that and get into some sort of a hot rod, resto mod, something, a driver kind of car, but something a little bit more maybe 60s or 70s.
69 Camaro-ish.
Or not that, because I can't afford that. But I'm thinking maybe perhaps, I don't know, something else.
66 Corvair.
58 Edsel.
No. There will be no Corvairs.
58 Edsel.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Something like that station wagon that you've got. I call you on the phone and say, hey, Michael, you run across something like this, give me a call, let me know about it.
Yes, I'll do that for individuals if I know the car is for sale.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's talk about diminished value. Explain
just for a minute, though, on your Corvette.
Yes.
You have probably one of the best valued cars right now for hot rodding and just a good driver car.
So in other words, don't sell it.
They're low end in value right now, and you get a lot of car for the money.
So in other words, don't sell it, moron.
Well, he said at low value, so your price is still low. What people can get is very high. So, it might take a few years till the price really starts to peak.
I think you got it back asswards.
No, I think that's what you said. The valuation on Don's Gen Corvette is still
low
at the base.
Low.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's low.
So don't sell low.
No, don't sell
that's
low.
The way that's the way I do the stock market. I buy high and sell low.
And you're very effective.
And that's why I'm here.
You're good at it too.
But we are in an unusual situation right now where cars, people are hurting for cars. And if it's somebody that wants a sports car and lives in, Don's financial realm, they would pay a decent dollar for that car. Right?
I'm only two steps away from debtor's jail.
Hey, I'll take that 2017 DB11 you did the other day. That is ultimately, I'm an Aston Martin fan.
Guy,
what a stunningly
it was a beautiful car.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
But
what was it
can't
appraised
afford
at?
it. I don't know that he'll tell you the number.
I haven't got them back from corporate yet. The way our system works is I put a value on the car and submit it to corporate. Corporate does all the footwork and the research to pull the comparables, put in the appraisal, and then set the price.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just a one-man band here. There are more people involved in appraising a car.
Yes.
And that's what you're paying for, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Well, I love the whole concept of it, because if you really want to know what your car is worth in whatever market it is that you're looking to sell or whatever situation you're in, you can actually get an honest outside appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guarantee that it's within that number if it goes to auction?
I don't think you can guarantee.
Yes, because we put the information in the appraisal. The comparables will be cars that have sold within 90 days.
Just like in a housing market.
Yeah.
Dan.
So the most recent looks like divorce appraisal you did with all the Highline European imports and stuff. Don wants the number of the divorce.
Yeah. He's not worried about the cars. He wants
because if she gets half the cars, he wants to go drive the half she gets.
Yeah.
I think you would like her, Don. She's a pretty good looking gal.
Yeah, I'll bet.
She's got blue hair and a walker.
And she's already been divorced once.
And clearly a lot of luggage, and I don't need to deal with that.
No,
But thank you for trying.
No,
some
it's baggage.
of those cars can't carry much baggage.
Yeah, it's baggage.
Yeah, but she can.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
So Michael, if let's take Don's Corvette, 2001 Corvette. It's low miles, it's very clean. And, if he's kind of thinking about maybe putting it in the market, he could literally come to you and get you through your process, do him basically a market analysis like
Correct.
you would in the real estate, and come back with, here's what it's worth. And he could decide if he wants to sell it or if he wants to continue to keep it.
It's no longer for sale, so thank you for asking.
Well, I wasn't asking. I was trying to help you out.
I know, and I've gotten all the disappointing information that I really need right
Theoretically.
Oh, well, he could give you some
Theoretically.
Now, you were talking about the inflated car prices. I just bought a used 2019 Camaro SS, 2SS.
Yes.
Has 28,000 miles on it, and I only give 36,000 for it.
Well, that car was worth what? 20,000 more than that?
I would say another 5 at least.
25,000 more.
No, 5.
Five.
Just 5, not 20.
Well, you got rid of the
talking
Jag
about new.
and got a Camaro, from what I'm hearing you
Thank
say.
God I got rid of the Jag.
Yeah, it's like a boat. It's a
Trouble.
You just keep
troublesome
pouring
car. Beautiful
money
car,
in it.
but troublesome.
We know. We know about Jags and their reputation.
Oh, I thought you were talking about beautiful and
It's all true.
Yeah.
It's all
It's
true.
kind of like that train wreck that you had to deal with on that collection of cars and the woman that you've tried to hook me up with.
Yep.
We've gone ahead and posted Auto Appraisers Network on our Facebook page for you, and I know it's the right one because it had the correct logo on it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Diminished value. Can we move on to that now?
That's a pretty steady market for me. And people don't understand what diminished value is. That's the biggest problem.
Well, that's why I want you to explain that and give us an example.
I say it's one of the greatest things we ever got from California. The law was actually initialized in California. When Texas picked it up, obviously the insurance companies have some real good lobbyists, okay? So when the law passed, they were able to put in it that the insurance company themselves do not have to advertise diminished value, nor do they have to offer it to you. You have to gas for it. You have to be aware of it and go to them for it. But they do have to pay. So that's where we come in, is how much do they have to pay? What is the diminished value of that vehicle? Okay.
The best kept secret.
What they use, and you can look this up online, there's a Formula C. And Formula C was a formula put together by some college professors that were never going to get tenured and needed some work and put this thing together. And it basically wraps around 10%. So if you had $8,000 worth of damage to your car, they say you get $800 in diminished value. Now, if you go to trade that car in, you're going to find out that they're going to give you a whole lot less than $800 off of NADA Blue Book value on that car because of that accident. Okay. The second criteria that they use is a severity factor. Okay. The bumper cover on the back of a Camry is going to be a 5. So out of that $800 or $8,000 damage, didn't do any structural damage. It didn't really hurt the car. It was just some plastic pieces, paint, and foam. Okay. So you're going to get a 5. You're going to get a less percentage of that $800. Now, if it got hit between the doors and they had to straighten the substructure on the car, then you're a 1, and you're going to get the full $800. Now, we say the $800 in the beginning is a joke.
Correct.
Okay. We don't do it that way. We go out and we look at the difference between wholesale and retail on any particular vehicle. And you can imagine a car that's 3 or 4 years old. There's been some of those cars that have been rode hard, put up wet, running 250,000 miles and dinged all the way around, selling for little or nothing. There's others that grandma and grandpa had, and they're just about too old to drive, and all they do is go back and forth to the grocery store. Okay? That car is going to appraise really high. So that's where we get our spread to pull from rather than using the 10% number. We look at that spread between wholesale and retail.
And that's the amount that you put on the diminished value.
Mm-hmm. Right. We take that number and we apply the same severity factor that they use. You know, right. If it's a cosmetic thing, it's a 5, and you're going to get a little bit less portion of that money. If it's a frame issue, you're going to be a 1, and you're going to get the whole chunk.
Well, I find it interesting. And isn't this really a relatively new sort of an appraisal, a diminished value?
No, it's been in Texas for 15 years.
Oh, it has.
It's just now becoming, people are starting to use it.
Yeah, people are starting to use it. And
they are starting. People are becoming aware, but there's still millions of dollars left on the table here in Texas every year because people don't know.
And your insurance company is putting it in their pocket.
Yeah, they're not going to tell you.
And they're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like
they
gap
don't have
insurance.
to.
Well, so what's on your agenda? I see that you you still going to join me on the Hot Rod Tour of Texas adventure
I'm very
next
much
month?
looking. Matter of fact, I've got the wagon in the shop right now, getting a few upgrades done to it just to make sure it's ready for the trip.
All right.
Good. Well, I need to get some new headlights on the Corvette. The headlights on there suck, and I've upgraded the bulbs. I don't know what I'm going to do, but something's got to give because I can't see anything at night. And if you got any suggestions, you can text me or something.
Will do. There are some good things out there.
Get about 20 years younger.
Shut up. Michael Wooding, it's always great to talk to you, my friend.
Same here. Same here.
And do you have any good appraisals coming up this week?
Blue-haired old ladies?
So far, I've been, like you say, getting older, you spend more time at the doctor than you do anything else. So
yeah.
I've got Got several doctor visits, but I do have a 1970 Super Bee to do Thursday.
Oh,
Very
wow.
nice. Well, I'll have to get you the update as soon as we get it from him.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, it's great to see you, my friend.
Same here.
Michael
Thank you,
Wooding,
sir.
yes, sir.
You bet.
And that's the Auto Appraisal Network. Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic. What are you going to talk about today?
Well, you've heard all of this on the news recently about the 5G networks, the
Yes.
one that we can see out your front door, but
Yep.
we can't get to.
We can't get to it.
So as the phone companies are bringing out 5G, they're shutting down the 3G networks. Well, the age of your car and the data acquisitions protocol that's built into your car is going to have a pretty big impact on that. Subaru owners need to know that their cars only go to 3G.
Wow.
So Subaru is in the Forester, the Outback, the Crosstrek, Impreza, all of those cars. Subaru's Starlink system goes through 3G. So as all of these companies shut down their 3G, those cars are no longer going
What
to
the hell are they
connect.
going to do?
Subaru, their retailers are offering a complimentary update for affected vehicles to keep their Starlink system active, and they're going to upgrade them to 5G. But if you don't know that, what do you do? All of a
How are
sudden
you
your
supposed
system,
to know that?
We're not going to send
you
a letter
listen
out.
to
or
In Real Time show, and we'll tell you.
Yeah.
We'll tell you a lot of things.
So, those Starlink subscribers are going to get an email from Subaru saying, hey, this is happening when 5G turns on, 3G turns off. You need to bring it into your Subaru dealer for a complimentary upgrade. So all of you Subaru owners out there that are driving a 2018 and earlier Subaru, you're only going to get to 3G, so you need to get a hold of your Subaru retailer and ask them about the complimentary upgrade.
And then when you get close to the airport, none of it will work.
Oh, gosh, don't get me going on
Yeah.
that.
So 5G is out the window at your favorite airport.
And if they don't want to go to the dealer, they can go to their My Subaru account and ask for the upgrade.
Does that affect your flying, the 5G stuff?
No.
Well, you got to remember, years ago they said turn your phone off, and now you can use your phone. I mean, you're supposed to turn it off before you go up in the air, but you see people are still sitting there talking or texting or on the internet on them today.
In airplane mode.
I think there was a lot of scare about that never came to reality. I don't know where they are right now. I think they said something about the frequencies of 5G and this radar
it's the
system.
Power. It's the power.
Oh, the output?
The output.
Of the 5G?
No, the 5G.
That'll
It's
just
considerably.
fuzz everything over?
I guess. I don't know
Yeah,
exactly.
the way it interferes with the other signals.
Okay.
That's what it amounts to.
So, if you've got a Subaru, contact your dealer.
That's today's car clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Brought to you by me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I allowed the time.
Thank you.
Because last time we ran out of time.
Well, that's why I made this one shorter.
I appreciate that. Or did you just run out of things to say?
Nope, I have other things. There's another thing we have to do a little bit later.
Oh, okay. Is this going to compete with my automotive news?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because
no, but I have automotive news pieces I want to add in there while we're chatting and you're looking for stories.
heavy demand for the electric truck is good news for an automaker, but Ford now worries that the markups of up to $30,000 some retailers are demanding could be harmful. You think? Mm-hmm. A year ago, Janelle Ford in Hanover, Massachusetts promised to charge no more than sticker price for their highly anticipated Bronco SUV, but that was before the industry's microchip shortage caused new vehicle inventory to dry up. For Ford's next hot product, the F-150 Lightning electric pickup due out this spring, dealership is charging a $5,000 premium.
Whoa.
Well,
and Ford is now saying, hey, dealers, you're only doing us and yourself a disservice when you mark these things up like that. I will never forget, years ago, this is in 2008, I was over at a Chevrolet dealership over on the Katy Freeway, and they had just taken delivery of a new SS Camaro. And it was off into the corner, all locked up with a $5,000 premium on it just because they had it. Screw that.
Chevrolet is blowing a gasket right now over markups on C8 Corvettes, and now the markup on the upcoming Z06, and they're firing off these letters to the dealer with the same thing Ford has to say. Well, the dealers are independent business persons, and they can go, I can do whatever I want. If I've got customers that are willing to pay this much for it, that's how much I'm going to sell it for. And within the corporate structure, they can say, the manufacturers can say, please don't do this. But within the business structure, the TADA is what really drives all of the laws here in town, in the state, and the manufacturers can't control pricing.
Huh.
That's why it's MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price.
So don't forget your destination fee.
So the Ford guy, the big guy up at Ford, president of the Americas International Markets Group, said, for the long-term health of the brand and the company, it's important that we stay as close to the MSRP as possible.
See, he knows that he can't force a price on
No,
that.
he can't. But, it really does not do the brand, really, and in the long term, the dealer. Let's just say that I've been a customer of that dealer for 40 years, and I bought all my Fords from that dealer, and I want that truck.
You bought a new one every year from him.
And now they're going to charge me $5,000 more just because?
They can.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no. So I would conclude my business with that dealership that I've had for the past 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
And it may tick me off enough that I may not ever buy another Ford. So they're kind of dealing with that right now. All right.
Cratchety.
Well, that's it for this hour of the In Wheel Time Car Show. We've got hour number 3 coming up right after these breaks.
You're invited to the event of the year. The Houston Auto Show and Houston Boat Show are getting hitched. January 26th through the 30th at NRG Center. The Auto Show and Boat Show unite for the first time ever. Take a test drive, board your dream boat, check out the latest and greatest models. One ticket gets you into 2 great events. The Houston Auto and Boat Show, January 26th through 30th at NRG Center.
I don't see it either.
Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m., Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupe Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupe trophies. It all happens at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com.
Welcome to In Wheel Time, the place for entertaining car talk. Coming up, there is a stranger among us.
Oh.
Why? Look to the West Coast. And who do we see?
Stranger danger.
It's the fabulous Jack Nerad, who'll share his mystical thoughts about today's auto industry. Mr. Mars is back in the new car review business with a look at the Ultra Luxe Lexus LS 500. Later, that's coming up. We'll try to unravel the mystery of ice blasting with Mr. Frosty Tyler Owens. Plus, we'll have the upcoming events calendar and today's news headlines. Just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, We Need More, Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today. It is a very lovely day because we have with us on the line, direct from the left coast, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jack Nerad. Hey!
What
And the
a
crowd
welcome.
goes
I'm
wild.
so thrilled. I've never been introduced as fabulous before. So I really do appreciate that.
Well,
It's
it's been too dang long. I don't know what you've been doing, but apparently you've been unable to speak with us on the on the air, and we are so thrilled to have you with us today.
Well, I'm thrilled to be invited again. I think every time I'm invited, I come along. So, I love
Invite me more often, right?
Esteemed, here's what I wrote. Esteemed auto industry expert and host of America on the Road.
Wow.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, I don't know about the esteemed part, but I am host of America on the Road. And,
No, I think that is spelled. I think that's spelled STEAMED. Steamed.
Yeah, I'm steamed. I'm steamed a lot. Let me tell you. When I'm watching the news these days, I'm really steamed.
I'm tearing up. I'm crying.
So, well, I don't even know where you want to start. You want to start with the new car market and the lack of cars on the lot to buy. You want to start with that? You want to talk about that?
Absolutely. That's a good thing to start with. I mean, it's crazy times for everybody, right? It's crazy times for the dealers. They don't know whether to advertise or not. They don't know what they're going to have to sell. They're hopeful of getting more truckloads of cars coming in, next week, that kind of thing. It's a very difficult time. For the consumer, probably worse, especially if you need to buy a car. Of course, I always scratch my head and go, do you really need to buy a new car right now? That's something to keep in mind. If you can put it off, maybe putting it off for a while isn't such a bad plan. On the other hand, there's still some bargains to be had.
Well, I have to tell you that at least here in the Houston area, there's a large cargo facility at the Port of Houston, and they have a large part of this out here, a big section of asphalt that they bring in all of the VWs to this area of Texas. And that lot is so full, it is, I don't even know where they're putting all these. So apparently Volkswagen's got something going on over there in Europe that they have managed to crank out a lot of Volkswagens. Now, what it is exactly, I don't know. They're all covered in white plastic, so it's hard to tell, but there's a ton of them over there. So manufacturers are building cars. So, I think that the signal that we've been giving car enthusiasts, car people that are going to go out and buy a new car, is that, there aren't any cars to buy. When you look at a dealer lot, there aren't that many. But you can certainly go and order one, and probably about 6 weeks later, you can have one delivered to your dealer.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said for ordering a car, as opposed to, stumbling onto a lot and stumbling into a car and stumbling into a deal. So there's something to be said for that. I think a lot of the issues are with transportation here in the United States. Of course, we've seen energy prices. I don't have to tell you guys about energy prices. You're in Energy Central there. Yep. But they've gone crazy. And also the number of truck drivers is way, way down. A lot of people are not, or I guess we need more, but we have not the number of transport people that we need. And that's a big issue too, is getting the cars that are in ports like Houston into dealers' lots across the country.
So I guess that the answer is really order the car. If you want a car, to be honest with you, Jack, that was always kind of a luxury back in our day. But now it's not that big of a deal. You can order a car, and generally speaking, within 8 weeks, within a couple of months, you can have exactly the color, the type, all of the
content,
all of that, exactly what you want at your front door.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said for that. My family used to do that, back in the day. When I was a teenager, I remember sitting down with my dad, helping him spec out the Oldsmobile or the Chevy that we were going to buy, right? And we'd walk into the dealership and, here's the check boxes, and we'd go from there. And then, as you say, several weeks later, the car would show up. I remember that being a really special kind of moment when you saw that car that was built specially for you show up in the dealership.
Yeah.
Well, and the dealers, I think the dealers, to a degree, preferred to have 1,000 units in inventory to sell out of, because then they could get the emotional buyer to buy whatever it is they landed them on, as opposed to what I'll call the educated buyer that was wanting to spec out their specific vehicle. So there's kind of two sides to the story.
I mean, that's 100% right. I mean, a lot of people buy cars as an impulse buy. Right. It seems strange because they cost 40 grand or more, right? But they'll walk into a dealership and walk out with a new car. And having inventory makes a lot of sense for a lot of dealers, which is why they actually pay money. They borrow money to have more inventory on the lots when they can.
Well, Jack, you see and read the same things that I do, and all the things keep pointing to the fact that, the chip shortage is going to ease up toward the end of 2022. And I keep getting conflicting reports that it may or may not at the end of 2022. They're still playing catch up, and they've got a long way to go.
Yeah, I think that's true. I talk a lot to my friends at J.D. Power. I actually used to work at J.D. Power long ago, but I have friends over there, and they are really dialed into the global auto industry. And their prediction is this will end toward the end of 2022. And I tend to believe that they're right, that this is going to be somewhat of a passing thing. I think one of the issues we have as a country is not just the auto industry, but it affects the auto industry certainly, is a lot of people have gone out of the workforce for one reason or another. Some people are afraid to go to work because of disease. Some people have, just better opportunities, and a lot of people decided to retire when COVID hit. So, it's a difficult time, I think, to get things built and to get things transported and get things on shelves. And I'd love to see us where we were 2 or 3 years ago. I think we all would.
I think that we'll probably eventually get back to that. I was talking to somebody last night that in a completely different business, and they just cannot get the parts. I talked to John Hovis about, don't even ask me, about power generation, these Generac systems that everybody's talking about. The lights go out, the lights come back on with your own at-home generator. The problem is, and he's much more in tune in it than we are because he is in the oil industry, they can't get the parts to make whatever it is that they make to put on the engine to make the engine go.
And it may be just one very small part that stops the whole process.
Right. Yeah.
But, Jack, you're talking about J.D. Power saying at the end of 22. Do you think some of that is because they're trying to bring some production back to the States to kind of fill in those gaps?
I think that's part of it. I think there's a lot of things going on. I think a lot of global manufacturers got caught with their pants down in some ways. Buying chips through a secondary market, or not either making them directly, and they used to make some of them. They actually used to manufacture some chips, and then going through a supplier as opposed to going directly to the chip maker. I think that has changed things around, and I think this has been a wake-up call for a lot of American industry to realize how deeply we've been in bed with overseas partners, and when those overseas partners fail to deliver, everything goes up in smoke. It's very, very difficult to continue working, even if your workforce here is ready to work. And as I said, there's a percentage of people who don't want to work here.
Jack, what's the price of a regular gallon of gasoline down the street where you buy gas? How much is it?
Painful. It's $4.50 or so.
Wow.
I think it was, around there. Maybe $4.39 was what I saw yesterday when I was out cruising around. So
I paid $2.89 yesterday.
Yeah, we're about $3 here in Houston for a regular gallon, depending on, clearly, if you're by the airport, it's going to cost you more, but at a regular gas station, about $3.
It's come down a little bit here. We were up over $5 for some stuff, and certainly premium was well over $5. It was like $5.25, and it has come down 20 or 30 cents since then. But painful times, let me tell you.
So, what is the EV market going to do to gasoline combustion engines? I'll tell you what. I know somebody that just bought a brand new Tesla. They're absolutely in love with it. They've taken a trip back and forth to San Antonio, and they had no problems finding a charging spot along the way, although the computer said that they really didn't have to. It said, because I felt more comfortable getting a little
topping it off
halfway between. But so what do you think that this, everything that I read, again, EV is going to take over the world, but I don't think that it's going to take over the world. I think it's going to become a significant part of the auto industry, but not take over.
I think it would take over the world if the government forced that to happen. In the absence of that, the economics are still in favor of gasoline cars for most of us out there. Most of us working stiffs who, are paying whatever we're paying for the car and because the premium for, say, a Tesla. Let's say you buy a Tesla Model S versus a Mazda 6, which is about the same size vehicle, and darn it, they look a lot alike too. And you go, okay, I'm going to pay 20, 30, 40 grand more, almost double, maybe more than double for that car. And then to have the range difficulty. I'll give you a perfect example. I was driving up to San Luis Obispo, where one of my daughters is going to college last weekend, 200 miles. That doesn't seem like very far, right? I mean, 200 miles. And I had an EV here. And I decided, do I want to take an EV with a little more than 200 miles of range on this trip, or do I want to get in a gasoline car? And the reason I took the gasoline car, I ended up in a Honda Accord hybrid, was that I could fill it up in 5 minutes and be done. Number one, I had 3 times as much range almost 600 miles of range in that thing. And then I could fill it up in 5 minutes rather than hunting down a charging station and spending 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes with the thing plugged in to just get enough juice to get me back home.
That's after you spent the time to go find it and get to it.
Yeah, and hope that it wasn't being occupied by somebody else at that time.
And you got to wait your turn. Right. I ran into the same situation here where I had one that would get me here to the studio, but it wouldn't get me home. And even according to the paperwork that came with the vehicle, I was going to be here 6 or 7 hours, but it was going to take, by only having a 110 to plug in, according to the manufacturer, I needed 28 hours to charge it to get back home. And I wasn't going to be here that long. So, you have to make those decisions. And, so I drove my truck.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are facing that. A lot of people, don't have the luxury of multiple cars in their household, or they have the 2 cars that the 2 working people in the family are using to get back and forth to work. So when I see these predictions of 50% electric vehicle by 2025, I mean, hello, we're pretty close to 2025.
But we've been talking about that for quite some time. This, to be honest, this is not a consumer-driven event.
Market.
This is a political-driven event, and it's pushing the OEMs into it. It's not the consumer. There are some people that want to buy them. I don't give you that. But to sit here and say that in 10 years, it's all of them are going to be gone, or half of the ICE engines are going to be gone, that's not going to happen. That's not consumers wanting that.
And you being in California, which I would consider to be the leading edge of the EV market, what do you see around you as far as what your friends are buying?
Where I live, there are Teslas everywhere. I'm practically in the home of Tesla, however. I mean, Tesla their design shop is in Hawthorne, California. It's like the next town over from where I live. And I'm lucky enough to live in a fairly affluent area. I got in before it got all that affluent, to tell you the truth. But there's Teslas all around me and electric vehicles all around me. But these are people with very, very high incomes. This is not the norm. And I think to be mainstream, right, the pricing has to change and the range has to change. And until that happens, we're just not going to see popularly priced EVs get a lot of traction.
Well, especially in the fact that you can buy a plug-in hybrid today that'll get almost 50 miles per gallon at a reasonable price. I think I'm going to go with that if that's what I'm really looking for.
Yeah, and not only that, but you can probably drive that for 40 miles on all electric.
Yeah.
So depending on, if you're just running around town, zipping over to Home Depot or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
doing your stuff. You can do all that on electricity, charge it overnight, and you're fine, and maybe not use nearly as much gasoline. But, so much of this is politically driven and driven by kind of a voodoo look at what's going on, scientifically, atmospherically, climate, all of that.
So, Jack, what are you excited about that either you're going to be driving, or what the manufacturers are about to be manufacturing soon?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the most exciting cars that I've driven, oddly enough, because we've just spent a little time slamming electrics, is the Lucid Air.
But wait, there's more.
Which is a pretty cool car. I mean, it is a super cool car.
What is it, Jack?
Lucid Air.
The Lucid Air.
Oh, yeah.
The luxury sedan, they're going out the door at about 150K, something like that. But they have 1,000 horsepower. Now, think of a car with 1,000 horsepower and 100% of its torque from 0 RPM, right? I mean, this is a crazy fast kind of vehicle.
Will it spin the tires, Jack?
It's just a rocket ship. It's will get you in trouble really fast. Let's put it that way. So I was very impressed with that all the way around. And yet there's other vehicles. And frankly, I was impressed with the Volkswagen ID4, the electric I had. But you have the range difficulty with all of these vehicles if you're going to take a cross-country trip. Or if you don't have home charging and you have to hunt down charging and then spend time with the charger. I think those are two no-goes, I think, right now with electrics. But I think those will be solved over time.
Well, how about the internal combustion engine cars? Have you had anything that you're really excited about there?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm on the North American Car of the Year jury, and I think our North American Car of the Year is a wonderful choice. It's the Honda Civic. It is a terrific car in all its iterations, as a hatchback, as a sedan. It is economical. It will run forever. It's good looking. It's interesting inside. There's just so much to like about this car that is available for about $25,000. It's just an amazing value. I'm so glad that our jury chose that car over some much more expensive cars, including the Lucid Air that was on that list, because I just think it's the right choice as a North American Car of the Year.
And a beautiful car.
It absolutely is. I think they've done a great job with it. I mean, one thing you can say about Hondas in the past was they weren't necessarily good, super good looking. They did a lot of things right, but they weren't great looking. But I think this car not only does everything right, but it also looks great.
So a Honda Civic, what I think of is not something that would come top of mind to buy, because it doesn't compete directly with the Corolla.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you would take the Honda Civic head to head with the Corolla, and you'd go with the Civic.
Yeah, especially the conventionally powered Civic versus the conventionally powered Corolla. If I were to buy a Corolla, I might actually look to buy a Corolla hybrid. I think that's a good value. Toyota's pricing those right. At least they were before COVID. And I think there's a little added value in the hybrid in that vehicle. I think it's torquier off the line for one thing. But I think the Civic is a terrific buy.
And Toyota's Synergy Drive is proven for well over a decade. That platform was Prius. So they do it very well.
So Jack, what is your thoughts on the car show season, the new car show season? We've got Houston Auto Show coming up next week, and we're really looking forward to it, but it's changed. They're combining the Houston Auto Show with the Houston Boat Show and going to have this massive show that's going to take up the entire NRG Center out there. We're looking forward to the car part of it. I don't know how well received the boat part will be with all of the ticket sales that are happening, but what do you see for car shows around town?
I was really excited to hear about that, actually, because I'm both a boater and a car guy, and so combined ticket to see both of those shows I think would be terrific. I'd love to do that. I went to the Los Angeles Auto Show that took place in November, a little before the big Omicron scare.
Yep.
And it was a very good show. I think the manufacturers were pleased at the number of consumers that showed up, the number of media that showed up. I think that it was a good show. I expect the Houston show to be a great show too. Hopefully this, the scariness of this will die down a bit, and cooler heads will prevail, because these shows are great, and they're great for consumers. They're a great opportunity to look at a bunch of different cars and sit in them and smell them and get all that in one place. And I just love the auto show business. I'm looking forward to going to the Chicago Auto Show at the beginning of February.
Jack, it's great to talk to you as always. We certainly appreciate you taking the time out there on the left coast to talk to us on this early morning on a Saturday for you. Host of America on the Road, Mr. Jack Nerad. Great to see you, my friend. Let's talk soon.
Yes, I look forward to it. Great to see all four of you.
Thank you, Jack.
Take care.
You too. I always love talking to him.
He's a great guy.
He's a wealth of information.
He is.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's got a different. He gets different cars than we do here. Being out there in the L.A. area, he gets all of the new cars and
cool cars.
Jack's been around a long time, and he knows his stuff. And car manufacturers go to him and say, "Please, yes, please drive our car." Well, let everybody know about it.
Lucid Air.
Lucid. Yeah. Lucid.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it truly
it's his
is.
attitude, lucid.
That's it. Time now for the events calendar. Do you have that?
Yeah, well, we're going to do something a little bit different, because one of the events coming up is Barrett Jackson.
Yep.
And you got it ready?
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, let's get that ready.
This is where we're going. Am I involved in this too?
Well, yes.
No, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Barrett Jackson is going to be selling the Wayne's World AMC Pacer. It's going to be up for auction in conjunction with the 30th anniversary of the world of the movie. So Wayne's World fans will think this is excellent.
Good.
The 76 AMC Pacer that was featured in the Comedy Classic is going to be auctioned off Valentine's Day. The baby blue hatchback was previously owned and restored by Pawn Stars Rick Harrison, and appears to be exactly as it was on the screen in the movie, including the flame graphics and the mismatched wheels. The car is going to be crossing the block at Barrett Jackson, Scottsdale, Arizona on January 26th without a reserve price, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Harrison bought the car at the 2016 Las Vegas Barrett Jackson auction for $37,400.
Oh my God!
Who would pay $37,000?
I was just going to say what a pile of
But you got to think, how can you see anything about the Wayne's World Pacer and not think of this song and this music? Hit it.
I see a little silhouette
of a man.
Scaramouche, Scaramouche.
Yeah, you do the fandango.
Thunderbolts of lightning.
Very, very frightening. Galileo. Nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family. And we know everybody out there is singing along.
No, they're not.
Next week, we will give you the price this car sold for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I cannot. $37,000 he paid for that car
in 2016.
Sir, when that car was brand new, it didn't even cost $3,000.
And remember,
well, it's got provenance.
Who was it selling it, calling it the Goldfish Bowl? What was the actor was selling it, calling it?
It was the year before. I don't know.
That's funny. Great story. Mm-hmm. All right, Mr. Mars, it's time now for the car review of the hour. Mr. Mars got to drive noses in the air, the Lexus LS500.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I wish I could do that accent, because I would love to do this whole thing in that accent. Yes, we're talking about a Lexus LS500. This is a four-door coupe. Now, there's so much about this vehicle, so I'm only going to hit the highlights because I don't have all day to talk about it as much as I would like to.
Sure.
So this currently is the 5th gen. It was introduced in 1990 as the LS package. The 5th gen came out in 2018, so they've been doing a lot of updates as they go along through to it. It really only comes in one trim level. You might hear about the LS500 F Sport, but that's actually an F Sport package, an option that you can get on it. So there's really only one model of a large luxury sedan. We used to call them full size, but they don't do that anymore for some silly reason.
This is their signature vehicle. This is the first vehicle that they brought to America to introduce the brand.
The luxury executive sedan is what it amounts to. For this year, they've updated the suspension, got an adaptive air suspension and stuff that they built into it. On the outside of it, it's a luxury vehicle. You're going to find LED lighting all the way around. You're going to find, what I really liked was this wide opening trunk. Makes it easy to get in and out of it. I don't bump my head. Got a power moonroof. It's actually split. You got one for the front seat and one for the rear seat. That was kind of cool. It comes with 19-inch wheels on it. We were rolling on the optional 20s. When you get to the interior, there's just so much stuff to go along with this leather interior. We had a 24-inch heads-up display. I mean, this thing is wide open. You can see everything that's in there. We had the executive package that came with things like front power seats that are heated and ventilated and massaging on the passenger side. Right. The rear heated seats that have memory, and the right-hand side is actually a recliner that'll lay out there. Got power window shades on the back windows. I mean, this is the things you look for in a luxury executive vehicle. Premium wood trim, got a 12.3-inch touchscreen display in the front and the center console. And on the rear console, like you can see we've got right here, it's got a rear console on the rear seat that's also got a display to control the heating and
Why
the
did they have a
massaging and
picture of it in front of the nursing home?
That was a funeral home.
That was
a funeral home.
That was a church.
Oh, it was a church.
It was a church.
Did you take those pictures?
Yes, I did. That was the only big columns I could find in the luxury setting. Otherwise, it was.
When was the last time you went to church?
Oh, it's been a little while.
Notice he went when it was
I was there the other night. I was there the other night taking those pictures.
He went when it was closed.
If I was going to do anything on the vehicle, on the interior, what I'd like to see, a little more interior lighting, because some of the controls behind the steering wheel at night, like the windshield washers and the controls for the turn signal, they're behind the steering wheel, and you can't see them. It's all blacked out. You really can't see it very well. But that'd be the only thing I would do to the inside of it. Up under the hood, 3.5-liter twin turbo V6, your only option with 416 horsepower. Don't know what else you would possibly want. 442 pound-feet of torque, backed by a 10-speed. They say it'll go 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. I would question that. I'll bet you I could do it a little quicker. And then if you look at the miles per gallon, the EPA says in the city you should be looking for 18. The Highway 29 combined at 22. I actually barely got to 21. Of course, the 283 miles that I was driving this vehicle,
wide open throttle the whole time.
This is what I would call a highway hauler. It's not a race car. You're not going to get out on the track and do all these wonderful things. But son, let me tell you, going down Interstate 10, this thing has got a very quiet, smooth driving experience.
He had that seat laid all the way back, and you could barely see the top of his head.
With the massage,
the
heated massage.
Looking between the steering wheel.
We all thought it was Betty White.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, this vehicle drives so well. It's so quiet. You know, you can have the radio on, and you can hear your
Would you
wife
just
talk.
why are you rubbing it in?
There's just so much about this vehicle. I like it.
He was dipping his chair.
He wants to drive it again.
Until you get to the price. Now you get out of my ballpark a little bit. Base trim price on this vehicle is $76,000. So, you know, it's very nice.
It starts at the top.
Had a few options. Like I said, we had the package there for the executive package. It has lots of stuff on it. And so the price as tested was $107,985.
So a $30,000 range from base price,
roughly
almost 32.
He was dipping his Geritol in the Grey Poupon.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you're looking for something to compare it to, which is kind of hard to find when you get into that level, the BMW 7 Series starts at 86.8. You can easily get up to 103. The Genesis G, let me go to the Audi A8 first, 86.5 starting up around 90,000. And then you can get to the Genesis G90. Technically it's in the same category, but it tops out in the 85 to 90,000 range from a price perspective. Same size, a lot of the same features. So it's, let me just tell you, if I was going to drive to California and I was in a hurry, I would have to look at driving one of these things.
You're done. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break.
You're invited to the event of the year. Houston Auto Show and Houston Boat Show are getting hitched. January 26th through the 30th at NRG Center. The Auto Show and Boat Show unite for the first time ever. Take a test drive, board your dream boat, check out the latest and greatest models. One ticket gets you into 2 great events. The Houston Auto and Boat Show, January 26th through 30th at NRG Center. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupe Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupe trophies. It all happens at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Real Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. It's the In Wheel Time Car Show. We are the entertaining car talk show at its finest. Ahead, we talk to the Iceman, Tyler Owens, about dry ice blasting.
Oh boy.
Burr.
A new technology in cleaning a car.
Does that have anything to do with like Texas whiskey, the TX, or anything?
We're also going to have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Hello, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, and we need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. Is Tyler ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Tyler, how are you, sir? It's good to talk to you, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a wonderful day.
Texas Cold Jet dry ice blasting. I've never heard of it. Please fill me in. What is it? Why does it work? What does it do?
What it uses is compressed air and 3mm chunks of dry ice that actually will remove road grime, dust. It'll actually remove paint if I turn the pressures up high enough. It's generally used for more high-end cars, but show cars, exotics, stuff of that nature.
And so what does it do to the painted surface?
To the painted surface?
Uh-huh.
If the pressure's turned down low, it won't do any damage to it. I can actually remove bug grime. You know, bugs have acid in their, digestive system.
In their
stuff
guts.
Like that. That's one of the biggest pain in the butts of trying to get off the front of your car other than using like baking soda and a rag and letting it soak and whatnot. But it'll blast bug goo right off the front of the car.
Interesting.
Wow.
And safely.
And safely, yes.
Because you're not hitting it with a particulate, so it's not like you're sandblasting it. There's no hard material in what you're cleaning with.
Well, what it does is actually the minute that so like I said, the machine is adjustable. I can turn it down as low to where you can blast electrical components. I have a picture on the website showing me blasting into a fuse box. So I can turn it down low enough to be able to blast electrical, but then I can also turn it up to where it's more abrasive and I can remove, oil that's been under your car with road grime mixed in with it. It takes a little more work to get it off, but it does remove it quite well, actually.
Well, I find it interesting. So are you marketing this to your high-end customers?
High-end customers, car show vehicles, classics, people who, like to keep their cars in pristine condition.
And so, where is your facility located? Do I need to bring the car to you?
Yes, sir, you do.
Okay. Where are you located?
We are located at 20440 North Freeway. It is at the North Freeway Hyundai dealership.
Okay. And this is something new. How in the world did you discover this?
I've been around cars for a while, something that's, kind of in my blood since I was a little kid. But believe it or not, I did a little Google searching and whatnot, and I had ran across the video, and I was really intrigued from it. I'm actually an ex-turbine engine mechanic of 8 years, and we use dry ice blasting on components of turbine engines because they're coated, and they just use the dry ice to remove the dirt off the coating without removing the coating. So
Interesting.
I know the director up here at the Hyundai dealership, Tim Shipe, and me and him got together, and he had offered me an opportunity to take over their dry ice division. It had only been up and running for about a year, but they really didn't market it too much. They were using it for their used cars, and me and him got together and said, "Hey, let's promote this. Let's get this, thing rolling. Let's make it some money."
So they were using it to clean up cars to make them look new again.
Exactly. And then the owner of the Hyundai dealership, Paul Peebles, actually owns Exotic Cars of Houston, which is also on the same lot as the North Freeway Hyundai dealership. And
How
they
convenient.
Happens, yeah.
Yeah, how convenient.
Oh, very convenient.
Yeah.
And he's also quite the fan of the Chevrolet SSR, because usually there's a collection of them out there on the used car
you go
side
out
of things.
there right now, there's probably 5 or 6 of them out there right now lined up for sale.
Of all cars.
SSRs.
All cars. I mean, we've got a Stampede 67 Fastback that's a retro mod that's got a 572 Stampede big block in it on airbags, and Exotic Car Houston that's for sale.
Yeehaw. So the process you're saying can be from as simple as cleaning leather at a very, very low pressure to cleaning paint off of the metal at a very, very high pressure. And
that is correct.
And is it just based on the freezing of whatever you're trying to clean, or how does it shred the debris that's behind the
so what it
physics
does
behind
is
it?
The machine has settings to actually change the particle size of the dry ice. So if you look at a piece of dry ice that we use, it's 3 millimeters in diameter, and it looks like a half-inch long, but it looks like a spaghetti noodle almost. So when you go into the machine settings, you can actually adjust how small or how big the particles are, and that's what you determine, what you're blasting, what you're trying to achieve with it. So, of course, if you're going to try to remove paint, you turn the particle size up so that it's more abrasive on it. Or if you're trying to do electrical components or the buttons on your steering wheel with these modern day cars that have all the electronic controls in them, I can actually get in there and clean the grime and stuff in between the buttons.
Wow.
Now, do you have to go out and actually buy the product, the dry ice?
Yes, we have a gentleman up here that gets me dry ice, basically on demand. I let him know, hey, I need a container of dry ice. He gets me 500 pounds at a time.
Well, that's a commodity of short life if it's not managed correctly.
Exactly.
That is true. We have a process here where we use, blankets. They're thermal blankets, and I can conserve the ice for up to about a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it'll stick around that long?
Something new.
It will stick around that long.
And how long has this technology actually been in use? Now, I'm going to go back to, because you said you used it in turbine engines, so all the way back to the beginning, how long has this technology been out?
Dry ice blasting has probably been around since probably the 90s.
Way back.
I never knew.
Way back.
I didn't either. So who discovered? I mean, was this all come out of the aircraft industry or jet engine manufacturing?
I believe so. And then it wasn't until probably 2016, from what my research that I've done, it's when it was first kind of introduced into cars. But it still to this day isn't very popular. I mean, there's very few of us out there in the United States that offer this service.
But we have you here in Houston.
Yep, you have me here in Houston.
So if it worked, I mean, I think it's wonderful that you could do like fuse blocks and wiring and switches and things. But so why isn't it more popular? Because obviously you can do some things that people with other media like sandblasting or glass beads or something can't do.
Right. So the system itself is about $200,000.
Well, that could be a problem. Startup cost.
That's the initial problem is your startup cost on it, and then having a facility that you're able to do it in. I mean, we have ventilation systems to push the carbon dioxide, because once the particles hit whatever I'm blasting, it evaporates in the air. So
zero residue.
Exactly. So zero residue, zero water, zero chemicals. With the way modern days going, everything's going electric. I frown upon all electric. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's feasible. But with all the electronic sensors in cars and stuff these days, the last thing you want to do is take a pressure washer to your engine. I mean, yeah, our services aren't the cheapest, but it's a lot cheaper to dry ice blast your engine than it is to buy several $1,000s worth of sensors that you've destroyed from pressure washing your engine.
Amen to that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I find the whole thing fascinating.
So I've posted a link to your Facebook page. How else can people get a hold of you to make appointments to get this service, to look into what they can do to get the service done?
They can find us at www.texascoldjet.com. We have Instagram, Facebook. We have a YouTube channel that we're trying to get. It's up and going. We have one video on there, basically with the intro that's on our website and our Facebook and all that. And then we're just updating that as regular as possible to try to keep our community out there knowing and seeing what we're up to.
Wow,
I love it, and my shirt matches his toolbox.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much for you, does it?
No, it doesn't. Not at this age.
Okay.
So
the littlest things amuse us all.
That's right.
You ought to see his bathrobe.
Yeah.
It's got holes in it.
Oh, so, you made me lose my question.
So with all the dry ice, you'd be pretty good in a margarita machine there.
Like the guys up here, I have a car club, and my vice president of my car club calls me Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
But the guys up here in the shop call me Snowflake or Snow Cone.
Oh, there you go.
And then they ask me what flavor am I making of the day.
Nice.
Okay.
As they're
explains the Mr. Freeze on your shirt there.
As they're waiting in line for you to do something for them.
Right.
Yeah, and you talked about some of the the late model cars and the exotics and stuff, but you can do some stuff too for hot rods too, like a 32 coupe that doesn't have a hood.
Oh yes. I mean, anything that anybody's wanting to have blasted or cleaned in a delicate form, we can take care of them on it. We do motorcycles, off-road vehicles, boat motors, basically anything that somebody would see a purpose for it.
Just don't put your finger in front of the stream, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, I made that mistake once, and I'll never do that again.
Yeah. Tyler, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Fascinating thing. Dry ice blasting. Texas Cold Jet is the name of the company. We appreciate you spending the time with us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
You bet.
Thanks, sir.
Cool.
Who would have thunk that?
Well, I know.
And how they're bringing it out of the aircraft industry into the automotive industry. But the beauty of this is there's no residue.
There's no residue.
All you want,
and he can get into such delicate areas with it that go sandblast your fuse block and see what happens.
Yeah, really. It. Or even the buttons on your steering wheel to get in behind it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Cool.
3-day hot rod cruise. So I have been in touch with Bobby Sparkman, and he's putting this thing on. It's the Texas. I don't want to screw this up. It is called the Hot Rod Tour of Texas, and so I've signed up. I'm going to do it. That means that I won't be here that Saturday. I'll be on the road.
Neither will I.
On the road again?
Yeah.
Where will you be?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
If everybody else is going to be gone, he's going someplace.
I'm going to.
We'll be doing a best.
All years of cars or trucks welcome, as long as it's a cool hot rod and not an everyday plain Jane passenger car. Okay. They got many amazing stops lined up. Day one kicking off in Victoria, Texas, Friday morning, April 29th, 9 a.m. First stop is going to be the fantastic Shiner Brewery. tour and tastings, and then
What a great mix.
and then on to New Braunfels for a show and shine that includes a hot rod only private showing of American Graffiti at the Stars and Stripes Drive-In with all the hot rods and cool cars in attendance.
Great movie choice.
Yeah.
Lots of Texas back road cruising each day. Day 2, they depart New Braunfels at 8:30 in the morning, cruise into Wimberley and into Dripping Springs for a stop at the amazing Speeding Springs Muscle Cars LLC showroom and collection of automobile memorabilia.
Never heard of it. Be an interesting stop.
They also have an amazing photo opportunity location for you in your car there. They won't want to miss the next stop show and shine. If you feel fast, some drag racing at the legendary historic Little River Dragway in Temple, Texas.
You going to do a couple of laps in the Corvette?
I don't know, but George lives in Temple.
He does.
I think so. So you can run your car or truck on the historical track and capture amazing photos of the Christmas tree.
That way you don't have to pay for a hotel. You can stay at George's place.
house.
And happy birthday, George.
Contact George at georgeskelton.com.
Birthday boy.
Grudge Racing, watch the races as a spectator if you want. Day 3, depart Temple at about 8:30 a.m. and head up through some beautiful scenery and into Arlington, Texas for the final stop.
So they're not going to do
The final
that.
stop's in Arlington?
Now, if they gave tours of the assembly plant up there, one of them.
Yeah, I don't know that they are anymore.
No, they don't do that. Don't even ask.
Been
they
a
ain't
while.
going to do it.
I used to have the phone number to the guys who scheduled, because we did a lot of it when I was working for General Motors, and then all of a sudden the phone went dead, and it doesn't go anywhere anymore.
They didn't pay the bill.
They didn't pay the bill.
Yeah, it went dead right after they got caller ID.
2009. Oh, no, we do all kinds of bring dealers, bring service managers, clubs, bring technicians and stuff. So it was
I never went to that.
pretty good trip.
I went to the one in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Okay, well,
My
that's
brother
another
worked
big
there.
truck plant. Yeah, another big truck plant.
Yeah, they built Suburbans when I went through there. A lot of them. Well, that was an old plant. It's gone now. They tore it down, but it was pretty
But
fascinating.
it was there forever.
Yeah.
It was a stalwart of GM's truck.
And they were really proud of the fact that they just put in this new paint booth. You ought to see the size of that paint booth. Whew. Like, a block long. And pretty interesting. I had to get all suited up to go in there.
yeah. Very clean room.
Yes. Yeah, it was an interesting, and everybody knew my brother, which was kind of cool too. It was just an interesting tour.
No,
Very
assembly
memorable.
plants. If you ever get an opportunity to go to an assembly plant, go. You get a real appreciation for how complicated building a vehicle is. Ford River Rouge still gives plant tours,
do.
but they do it differently because anytime I went to a GM plant, you were literally on the floor. At the Ford River Rouge, you're in a skywalk looking down on everything. They've really done a nice job of managing a way to keep people looking at.
That's funny because Mars and I have had opportunities to go through several assembly plants. The most amazing one to me was the Toyota Corolla assembly plant. I think it was in Mississippi. The reason I say I think because it stayed across the border because this particular assembly plant is right in the confines of Mississippi. Anyway, drove over there, and it was also a stamping plant. So in other words, they made
that's a loud place.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And hot.
It was all the way at the very, very back of the place, where the car started. Okay, and it was amazing to stand there and watch this machine stamp out. The whole floor shook. The whole building shook when it stamped
Whatever it stamped.
Yeah, well, it was stamping sides. And the very interesting thing to me was the fact that when they did a stamping, let's just say the passenger side, which they were doing when I was there, it stamps the doors and the area around the doors. And the part where the fender actually meets up to that section, the center section of the side of the car.
Trying to make sure everything fits. And as little waste as possible.
And the doors go with that side piece because they said to us that the reason they do that, so the doors will actually fit because in times past, They did the doors separately from the hole that they were cutting.
Oh, very much so.
And it was all cockeyed in there.
And that's where this thing about door gaps would come in, because the stamping would be just a little bit off, and you'd have this big wide gap on one side.
Mondays and Fridays.
Well, they explained to us that every stamping is an individual stamping. And, you know, you can get a door to fit on it, but it's not going to be the door.
And you have degradation of the press itself, the mold and how it's done.
Yep.
You talked about catwalks. When I worked for Pirelli in Rome, Georgia, they have the same type of catwalk system
for
consumers to watch how a tire is made, from the tube of toothpaste tube that it comes out of to actual finished tire. So very interesting.
Yeah. Any kind of matter of fact, many years ago, here they had tours of the sugar factory.
Right.
Imperial Sugar
Mill.
the big building.
Right out here.
And that was truly interesting. And at the time, when that building was originally built, this was all sugarcane fields around us. That ended decades before I was even born. And they used to ship on a ship raw sugar. And then
out from here.
No, from the port of Houston, they would put it on a train and then train it out here and then dump it in a great big bin out here in the floor of that factory. And that's where the process started.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they moved it away from here, because that building was built to actually take the actual sugar cane and make the whole process.
Oh.
But now they were bringing it in on a ship over here to get processed.
Imagine all the ants they would have.
Well, it's good to see they got their ship together.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep. I did get to go through the Ford Rouge plant once.
Me too.
And they let us take pictures one time. It was kind of a restricted area, and we were on the catwalks going around. And all the people down there were pointing at us and hollering and telling us we couldn't take pictures and stuff. But we had pictures, we had permission, and we had an escort with us so that we didn't go to the wrong places. And it was pretty interesting to see how they did all that.
Well, I was fortunate enough to go over to the, Michigan Avenue Assembly. And they were building trucks over there at the time. And the fascinating part to me was the fact that they used people to put all these other parts on the car except for the windshield. And it was automated, because they could make it go into that slot in the hole of the body of the car for the windshield.
Safer.
And they could do it the same way every single time.
That was in Wayne, Michigan, that plant.
Well, I've
Assembly,
been
wherever that
into
is.
quite a few assembly plants in my time. The flurry of Oldsmobile stuff with Lansing 1, Lansing 2, Hamtramck. Been into some plants out in Columbus, Ohio. And then, my favorite was going to Bowling Green, though. Oh, my gosh.
The Tech Center was in Lansing, wasn't it?
No, the Tech Center's in
Ypsilanti.
Milford.
Milford Proving Grounds.
Proving Grounds.
What used to be in Ypsi? There was something with Cadillac up in Ypsi. I can't remember.
They're all over Michigan.
Yeah.
Well, and in speaking of all over Michigan, General Motors has their multifunction gates, GMC and Chevy, and there's a little variation.
Walter the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a cool ad. But
great ad.
You remember Walter the cat, but not the gate of the truck.
Was that a GMC or a Chevy? I don't know. Go ahead.
That's a Chevy. And then, Chrysler has their gate, which is kind of the Dutch door that's over on the side.
Right.
Well, Ford just recently patented a new gate design, and it's going to be 3 sections, equally spaced, with the center section that drops down in the middle to give you a step to get up. So each of these manufacturers are kind of building their own style of gate to give you access to the back of a
Tailgate.
Let's not forget Elliot the cat either.
That's right.
That's right.
Jim Morrison's cat.
Yeah.
General Motors pre-production version of the Cadillac Lyriq EV crossover has been assembled, and the final production version expected to be delivered to customers in a few months. President Mark Royce said in a LinkedIn post on Thursday, GM's Cadillac will offer the Lyriq, the Celestique, I guess that's the way you pronounce it.
Like celestial.
I guess, but with an IQ at the end. An Escalade EV as well as a compact crossover by 2025.
You sent me that video of that autonomous Cadillac. That was cool.
It is cool, yeah. Normally we don't do these sorts of things, but for some reason this grabbed my attention. Mary Ellen Green Doors, a pioneering automotive designer who created the interiors of high-end GM cars in the early 1950s, died Wednesday, according to her children. She was 92. Doors is one of the first female designers hired by GM after World War II. After she graduated from Pratt Institute in New York, she joined GM in 1950 at age 20, making her the youngest designer to ever work for the automaker. Doors created the interiors of GM show cars and specialty cars for important customers. According to the GM Heritage Center, she designed the pleated leather seats in the 1950 all-red Cadillac convertible and the interior of the Hopalong Cassidy Cadillac, a 1950 Series 62 convertible owned by William Boyd, who portrayed Hopalong Cassidy, the cowboy. Doors was one of the few female designers at the time, but she disliked being characterized by her gender, according to an obituary provided by her family. In 2019, she said at a Women in Design conference in Detroit, she says, "I still resist calling me and my type women designers.
Good for her.
Unless writers preface others as men designers."
Well, she was born before her time because that's what they're doing now with just society.
Because I'm a designer.
Yeah, well, society in
I'm
general.
here because I can design a vehicle. I'm not here for my gender reasons. It makes me wonder if she knew if she had crossed paths with Betty Skelton back there in the 50s as a woman in GM corporate world. There weren't many.
You're right.
Yeah.
And I get very notable.
And my mom actually became one in the early 70s in the GM corporate world.
Well, having two daughters, you're a big proponent of everything female, and that caught my attention. I thought, well, that'll be a cool story. Let me read that on the air. I guess we really don't have too much time left, but anyway, we have a big announcement to make next weekend, maybe, Mr. Mars?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're going to be, and also we're going to be at the Houston Auto Show Thursday afternoon.
Yeah. All right. So we got more coming up right after this.
You're invited to the event of the year. The Houston Auto Show and Houston Boat Show are getting hitched. January 26th through the 30th at NRG Center. The Auto Show and Boat Show unite for the first time ever. Take a test drive, board your dream boat, check out the latest and greatest models. One ticket gets you into two great events. The Houston Auto and Boat Show, January 26th through 30th at NRG Center. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupe Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupe trophies. It all happens at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching in real time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nrealtime.com.
Well, I did want to mention that we are going to do a special broadcast this coming Thursday live from the Houston Auto Show. That's Thursday from noon until 3 on Facebook. So we're going to do that. And then we're also going to do our regular broadcast there on Saturday from 8 to 11. So can you make all of that?
So we get to watch the 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock rush of people running to Camp Jeep.
Yeah,
sure.
Which we've seen every year.
I know that it is kind of crazy, isn't it? Oh well. Actually, we thought that they were rushing over to see our show, but that wasn't the case at all.
No, it wasn't the case.
And it's with the new layout. I don't know where we're even going to be, but I'm sure that we'll figure that out as well.
They dropped off the subpoenas to us. Is what it was.
That's right. So we've got that coming up, and Mr. Mars is working on a special thing for us to broadcast.
Yeah, you're
it's
putting
going
the pressure on me here, dude.
expand all of that. So I just wanted to bring that up as well. Well, that's a wrap for another episode of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. When you're on Facebook, please give us a like. Tell your friends about us and share our junk if you would, please. You'll get Conrad's unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive all week long. There'll be some fun stuff in there too, along with upcoming car-related things to do. Hey, I want to remind you that the In Wheel Time Car Show streams live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central. 30-minute podcasts are available from your favorite podcast outlet 7 days a week. God, can you imagine 7 days a week of this? The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley.
Is he awake?
Miss you, David.
Give him a call. Our marketing manager and video technical director is We Need More, Jeff Ziegler.
We do.
For booking agent and podcast pontificator, Mike Out of This World Mars, and his royalty King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Today's show was not a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
Theoretically.
Theoretically. Have a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you Thursday on Facebook from the Houston Auto Show, and next Saturday, January 29th, 8 to 11 Central. Take care of yourself. We'll see you then.